Hello, dear listener. Welcome. Before we begin, I'd love to know who is listening today. Where are you listening from? What country, what city, what quiet corner of the world? Please, comment below and let me know. Now, close your eyes if you wish, and let us journey back, far back, to the year 79 AD, to the bustling city of Pompeii, shadowed by the silent, watchful Mount Vesuvius. Imagine the air crisp with autumn, the sun just beginning to lift over the eastern rooftops, casting golden light on the mosaic floors of a modest Roman house near the city center. You are stepping into the atrium, the heart of a family's home. A gentle hush fills the courtyard, broken only by the soft sound of slaves preparing for the day. One sweeps the patterned floor with slow, careful strokes, another fills clay lamps with olive oil. From the kitchen wafts the comforting scent of freshly baked bread. Marcus Lucretius, the father of the household, emerges from his sleeping chamber. His tunic is simple, his steps measured. He approaches the lararium, the small shrine to the household gods, lighting incense and murmuring prayers for protection and prosperity. Around him, life is ordinary, peaceful, yet beneath the calm, the city sleeps unaware of the extraordinary day that awaits. Breakfast is simple: bread, olives, cheese, a little watered wine. His wife Livia joins him, along with their children, Quintus and Julia. Conversation drifts lazily, warm and mundane, a rhythm of ordinary life. The morning stretches gently, soft, calm, unhurried. Feel the slow heartbeat of the city, the quiet rhythm of the streets waking, merchants opening their shops, children running, the distant hum of daily life. And somewhere, beyond the horizon, Mount Vesuvius watches silently, waiting. Now, dear listener, imagine stepping outside with Marcus and his son Quintus. The streets of Pompeii stretch before you, alive yet unhurried in the soft glow of morning. The air carries a faint chill, and the first golden rays of sunlight kiss the stone buildings, highlighting the careful planning of this remarkable city. Notice the stepping stones set across the road, worn smooth by countless footsteps. Carts pulled by oxen or mules navigate the grooves between them. Everywhere, life moves in its measured rhythm. Shopkeepers lift wooden shutters, revealing counters filled with fruits, grains, and textiles. Street vendors call softly, not loudly, their voices blending into a gentle chorus. Water flows from fountains, where women gather with clay jars, exchanging whispers of daily life, gossip soft as silk in the calm air. Quintus follows his father closely, eyes wide with curiosity. He watches merchants haggle, citizens converse, children play. Dogs wander lazily between pedestrians, sniffing for scraps, tails wagging slowly. The city breathes around you, and you feel it, a rhythm both ancient and comforting. Above it all, Mount Vesuvius rises silently, its slopes still green with vineyards, its peak crowned by clouds. Most citizens notice only the subtle grumble of the earth, small tremors that pass almost unnoticed. But you see the thin wisp of smoke curling upward, delicate, almost invisible against the blue sky. Something stirs atop the mountain, something quiet, something waiting. Step lightly now, listener. Feel the warmth of the sun, the gentle breeze, the rhythm of Pompeii unfolding one peaceful moment at a time. The Lucretius family arrives at the Forum, the very heart of Pompeii. Imagine a wide open plaza, bordered by temples, government buildings, and the basilica, quiet yet slowly stirring with life. Merchants arrange their goods, glinting coins and colorful fabrics catching the sun. Citizens move gracefully through the space, some with purpose, some simply strolling, savoring the morning. Quintus runs small errands for his father, delivering messages and observing trades. The sounds are gentle, rhythmic, footsteps tapping lightly on stone, soft murmurs of conversation, the distant clatter of a cart. Above, the mountain stands still, its green slopes belying the quiet tension that lingers at its peak. Notice the subtle details, the way sunlight catches on polished marble, the intricate carvings of the basilica, the scent of fresh bread from nearby vendors mingling with the crisp autumn air. Marcus negotiates trades for imported textiles, his voice low and deliberate. Life seems ordinary here, though the mountain quietly watches, patient, unmoving. As you wander with the family, the forum reveals more of Pompeii's character. A wealthy woman moves toward the baths with her attendants. You hear the soft splash of water, the murmur of conversation, the faint scrape of sandals across stone. The baths, tepidarium, caldarium, and frigidarium, form a slow, ritualistic dance of warmth and cool, a gentle rhythm of daily life. Nearby, men linger at a thermopolium, savoring fish stew and wine. Lively discussions about gladiatorial games drift lazily through the air, yet the tone is calm, measured. Children chase small stones, stray dogs weaving through the open spaces. Observe how the city flows, slow and predictable, a heartbeat in stone and mortar. Mount Vesuvius looms, mostly still, but now a subtle dark wisp rises from its peak, thin as smoke from a candle. Most passers-by ignore it, but you feel it, a quiet, almost imperceptible hint of change. Time drifts forward, the 6th hour arrives, roughly noon. A tremor stirs the earth beneath your feet, gentle but insistent. Cups rattle on tables, hangings sway slightly. Citizens glance upward toward the mountain, eyes narrowing. The wisp of smoke seems darker now, curling slowly against the blue sky. Life continues, but with a subtle edge. Parents call children closer, merchants secure goods. Conversation slows as uncertainty creeps quietly through the streets. Marcus notices, pausing mid-trade. "Perhaps we should conclude our business," he murmurs, eyes toward Vesuvius. The mountain's whisper has grown, a gentle warning carried on the wind. Feel the streets underfoot, soft, steady, yet trembling, the rhythm of Pompeii altered, just slightly, like a lullaby with an unexpected note. Marcus and Quintus begin their walk back, the city bustling yet subdued. Shopkeepers close shutters, small children follow parents quietly, dogs pause mid-step. The wisp of smoke grows longer, darker, curling upward. Inside their domus, Livia and Julia sense a quiet tension. Tremors passed unnoticed by some, but the Lucretius family feels the shift. Prepare for the ordinary to change, but for now, the morning lingers in memory, soft and warm, like a fading melody. Notice the impluvium in the atrium, the sunlight catching water pooled in its shallow basin. The garden smells faintly of autumn herbs. Life is still calm, though beneath the surface, the mountain waits, patient, indifferent, immense. Outside, faint tremors continue. Marcus looks to the horizon. Smoke rises thicker now, twisting slowly. A few citizens glance upward with curiosity, murmuring observations. "Is Vesuvius awake today?" someone asks softly. Most continue on their paths, but you notice a slight unease threading through the streets. Step gently, listen carefully. The soft patter of birds, distant carts, and the faint rumble from above. Nature breathes quietly here, even as the mountain hints at change. Quintus clutches his father's hand lightly, sensing the subtle tension. Julia stays near her mother. Slaves carry small bundles, moving carefully. Everything seems ordinary, but the air is heavier, thicker. Back at the domus, Marcus moves through rooms, observing carefully. Bread, olives, and wine are set aside. A lamp is refilled. Small routines, gentle rituals, grounding the family against the slow-building unease. The sun climbs higher, casting long shadows through the compluvium. Water shimmers faintly in the impluvium. Outside, merchants' voices rise and fall like waves. Children laugh softly, dogs bark quietly. Life persists, yet the mountain watches, silently gathering power, patient and immense. Feel the calm rhythm of preparation, the soft weight of everyday tasks. In these moments, the world seems ordinary, yet fragile, poised on the edge of change. Around the forum, tremors become slightly more insistent. A few citizens glance upward, noticing smoke thickening at the peak of Vesuvius. Conversations slow, and movements grow cautious. Marcus notes it carefully, whispering to Quintus, "We should finish our errands quickly today." The boy nods, still calm, still learning. The streets hum with activity, but an invisible thread of tension stretches over the city. Imagine the gentle sway of trees, the distant splash of water, the faint rustle of fabrics, subtle, almost imperceptible, signaling a world on the cusp of extraordinary events. The family reaches home once more. The atrium glows softly with afternoon light. Slaves move quietly, finishing chores. The smell of bread lingers. Marcus pauses, taking a slow breath, surveying the peaceful garden, the small fountain, the statues in the lararium. Everything appears calm, yet the faint tremor beneath your feet reminds you of the mountain, patient and waiting. The day stretches ahead, ordinary yet charged with hidden possibility. Feel the warmth, the sense, the quiet rhythm of Pompeii, soft, steady, before the extraordinary begins. The streets remain lively, though there is a subtle shift in the rhythm of Pompeii. Walk with Marcus and Quintus as they wander toward a small market. Wooden stalls line the street, their wares glinting softly in the afternoon sun. The scent of freshly baked bread mingles with the earthy smell of fruits and vegetables. A gentle breeze stirs, carrying with it the distant murmur of conversation. Merchants move deliberately, arranging goods with careful attention. Children dart quietly between legs, occasionally laughing, though a hint of unease lingers. The first small ash flakes drift lazily from the sky, barely noticeable at first. People pause, glance upward, but continue their routines. Marcus exchanges a few words with a vendor about spices imported from the eastern provinces. Quintus watches intently, absorbing every gesture, learning the subtle art of negotiation. Life moves forward, slowly, each step measured. But high above, Mount Vesuvius watches silently. The smoke at its peak thickens imperceptibly, a shadow gathering in the distance. Take a deep breath, listener. Feel the warmth of the afternoon sun, the soft breeze, the rhythm of the marketplace, calm, ordinary, yet tinged with anticipation, like the quiet before a storm. A tremor runs softly beneath your feet, gentle enough to pass unnoticed by some, but enough for Marcus to pause and glance toward the mountain. Quintus tightens his grip on his father's hand. Julia leans against her mother, sensing something subtle, yet unspoken. The city continues to move in its measured rhythm. Citizens exchange goods. Pets trot lazily at their heels, the air filled with the soft sound of conversation and the distant clip-clop of carts. Smoke rises steadily from Vesuvius, curling into the sky like a ribbon of gray. Marcus notes it quietly, the slow weight of observation pressing on him. Life seems unchanged, soft, ordinary, but the tremor beneath your feet, the subtle thickening of the smoke, hints at something unusual. You notice a few people pause, glance upward, then continue on their way. Breathe with the family now, listener. Feel the slow, deliberate rhythm of Pompeii, the gentle sway of the streets and buildings, the calm, ordinary day, laced with subtle tension. Returning to the forum, you notice its open expanse bathed in soft afternoon light. The columns of the basilica glint faintly, shadows stretching across the paved stones. Merchants call softly to passing customers, voices low and measured, blending with the rustle of sandals and the occasional bark of a dog. Quintus runs errands, darting between stalls, eyes attentive. Marcus completes a trade for fine textiles, careful and deliberate. Life seems ordinary, yet, above, the smoke at Vesuvius's peak thickens, twisting slowly in the gentle breeze. A tremor shivers briefly underfoot. Some citizens glance upward, others ignore it. Marcus notices, quietly acknowledging it to himself. The city continues its rhythm, gentle and hypnotic, each movement a soft, deliberate step toward an unknown future. The family wanders through the narrow streets of Pompeii's trading district. Wooden shutters creak as merchants close their stalls, packing up goods in preparation for evening. The soft scent of olives and baked bread lingers in the air. Quintus follows closely, observing how his father interacts with customers. Above, a faint ash flake drifts lazily, catching the sunlight for a moment before falling to the stone. The tremors return sporadically, subtle reminders that the earth itself is alive. Citizens murmur quietly, adjusting their pace, though life continues. Notice the details, listener, the curve of a roof tile, the gentle sway of hanging fabrics, the rhythmic clatter of hooves on stone. The city breathes slowly, predictably, yet the mountain watches silently, smoke twisting in a slow, deliberate spiral, a quiet signal of change. The sun tilts westward, casting longer shadows across the streets. The golden light softens the edges of buildings, painting the city in hues of honey and amber. Citizens move through the streets with measured steps, children playing quietly in courtyards. The scent of cooking food drifts from nearby homes. Marcus and Quintus walk slowly, observing small details. An elderly man arranging pottery, a woman watering her garden. Above, smoke rises higher, darkening slightly. The tremors beneath your feet are faint but insistent. Life seems ordinary, yet the mountain's presence grows heavier, a quiet tension threading the air. Breathe slowly, listener. Feel the warmth of the sun, the soft stir of wind, the gentle rhythm of the city, calm but attentive, aware of subtle shifts in the world around it. Evening approaches gradually. Shadows stretch across the stone streets, softening the colors of frescoes and walls. The hum of conversation quiets slightly. The smell of evening meals prepares to mix with the cooler air. Marcus guides his family past familiar shops and fountains. Quintus observes, learning the ways of the city. Julia runs a small hand over the smooth stone, feeling the heartbeat of the city beneath her fingertips. Above, smoke rises steadily. The tremors come more frequently now, though soft, almost a gentle pulse. The streets continue, calm but vigilant, citizens moving with quiet awareness. Mount Vesuvius looms silently in the distance, patient, immense, and ever-present. The first noticeable ash begins to drift down from the mountain, small gray flakes landing softly on roofs and streets. Citizens pause, brushing it from their shoulders, murmuring quietly. Life slows. Children stop to watch the floating particles. Dogs lift their heads curiously. Marcus notes the change, the subtle shift in the day's rhythm. Quintus watches too, learning to read the signs. Julia leans close to her mother. The tremors persist, gentle but growing, almost imperceptible warnings beneath your feet. Feel the ash settle, listener, the soft hush it brings, coating the city in gentle gray. The ordinary day continues, tinged with quiet unease, still calm, still slow, yet poised at the edge of change. Merchants begin closing their stalls. Wooden shutters creak softly. Pots and fabrics are packed away. The gentle murmur of conversation softens. The streets empty gradually, footsteps slowing. The scent of evening meals drifts stronger now. Marcus leads his family homeward, careful to avoid any obstacles. The ash drifts thicker, settling on the stone like a soft gray blanket. Tremors ripple gently beneath your feet. Above, smoke rises steadily, curling lazily. The mountain's presence is immense but still quiet, a patient giant waiting. Listen to the soft rhythm of the streets, the gentle sway of buildings, the quiet exhalation of a city in calm transition. The sun dips lower, painting the city in soft shades of amber and gray. The air cools gently. Few people remain on the streets. Dogs trot lazily, children retreat indoors, and lanterns are lit in anticipation of nightfall. Marcus pauses briefly to observe a small fountain in the forum, water shimmering softly in fading light. Smoke from Vesuvius curls higher, darkening against the sky. Tremors continue as gentle pulses beneath your feet. The city seems sleepy, yet the mountain waits silently, indifferent, immense. Breathe slowly, listener. Feel the warmth fading from the stones, the soft hush descending over Pompeii, ordinary life lingering in delicate balance. The family returns home. The atrium glows in the warm, fading light. Slaves finish chores quietly. The smell of evening bread and olives mixes with the cool night air. Marcus lights a lamp, soft illumination flickering over mosaic floors. The tremors continue softly, like a gentle heartbeat beneath the city. Outside, faint ash drifts down, settling on rooftops. Vesuvius's smoke rises steadily, darkening gradually. Life within the domus feels calm, a fragile ordinary world suspended on the edge of change. Feel the warmth, the stillness, the slow rhythm of Pompeii. Soft, meditative, lulling. The day is ending gently, though tomorrow holds whispers of what is to come. The sun has dipped below the horizon, leaving the city bathed in soft twilight. Shadows stretch across streets and buildings, blending the familiar colors into muted grays and deep amber. Citizens retreat indoors, doors closing with gentle thuds, lanterns glowing softly in atriums and shops. Marcus guides his family through quiet streets toward home. The distant hum of the city softens, replaced by the occasional clatter of a cart or the low bark of a dog. The tremors beneath the feet are subtle, like the slow pulse of a sleeping giant, barely disturbing the calm. Above, Mount Vesuvius rises dark and immense against the fading light. Smoke curls upward, thicker than before, yet still slow, almost lazy in its movement. A few ash flakes drift down, settling softly on rooftops and streets. The air feels cooler, heavier, as though the city itself is holding its breath. Breathe deeply, listener. Feel the twilight settling over Pompeii, the quiet rhythm of streets, the soft presence of the mountain looming, patient and immense. Everything seems ordinary, yet poised, like the pause between one gentle wave and the next. Inside the domus, life continues softly. Slaves move quietly, finishing tasks with slow, deliberate motions. A lamp flickers, casting long shadows across the mosaic floors of the atrium. Livia checks the family's small store of food and water, laying olives and bread carefully on the table. Quintus sits near the window, observing the faint ash settling outside, his small fingers tracing patterns on the sill. Julia leans against her mother, listening to the soft crackle of the lamp. Marcus moves slowly, checking doors and shutters, pausing occasionally to glance at the distant mountain. Outside, faint tremors continue, almost imperceptible. Smoke rises steadily, curling in gentle spirals. Life in Pompeii remains calm, measured, ordinary. Yet beneath the surface, the mountain stirs quietly, immense and patient, a presence you feel rather than see. Notice each detail, listener, the warmth of the lamp, the gentle clink of pottery, the soft settling of ash outside. Let these ordinary sounds soothe you, drawing you into the slow rhythm of evening in Pompeii. Twilight deepens. The streets of Pompeii are almost empty, silent except for the distant shuffle of a few late travelers or the soft cry of a dog. Shadows stretch long across doorways, blending colors into muted, quiet shades. The scent of evening meals drifts through open windows, faint and comforting. Marcus and his family pause briefly in their atrium, noticing the subtle shift in the mountain's presence. Smoke rises higher now, curling against the darkening sky. Tremors ripple gently underfoot, irregular yet soft, like a heartbeat that's slower in the dark. Quintus observes carefully, learning to read the signals of the world around him. Julia, tired from the day's walk, leans against her mother. Marcus wraps his arm around Livia, holding the small family close. The city breathes quietly, wrapped in the soft hush of evening, the mountain looming silently above. Feel the stillness, listener, the gentle settling of the day, the soft rhythm of Pompeii at dusk, the quiet anticipation that hangs in the air. Night has fallen fully now, soft and velvety over the rooftops. Lanterns glow gently in the streets, flickering reflections on stone walls. A faint wind stirs, carrying with it the delicate scent of ash and the earthy aroma of the surrounding countryside. Marcus ensures the family is settled. The lamps glow softly in the atrium, illuminating the mosaic floor and the small shrine in the corner. Tremors continue, faint, irregular pulses beneath the stones. Smoke curls upward from Vesuvius, still distant yet more pronounced. The city sleeps, lightly, cautiously. Citizens retreat indoors, dogs settle, and the wind whispers through the narrow streets. The mountain remains silent in its majesty, watching, immense, patient. Take a slow breath, listener. Let the calm of the first nightfall in Pompeii sink into your body, a soft lullaby before the coming changes. Marcus, Livia, Quintus, and Julia rest quietly in their chambers. The lamps glow softly, shadows moving like gentle waves across the walls. The servants settle in corners of the atrium, quiet and unobtrusive. The sounds of the city are distant now, faint footsteps and the occasional bark. The tremors pulse beneath the ground, subtle and gentle, like a slow heartbeat you feel rather than hear. Smoke from the mountain rises steadily, twisting lazily in the night sky. The family breathes softly, each inhalation in rhythm with the quiet pulse of Pompeii. Notice, listener, the soft warmth of the room, the gentle flicker of lamplight, the calm settling over stone and body. The ordinary night lingers, soft and unhurried, holding its gentle rhythm as the mountain waits patiently beyond the city. Through the window, Quintes watches the distant mountain, smoke curling upward in slow spirals against the darkened sky. The tremors continue, faint but consistent. Julia leans against her mother, eyes heavy with sleep. Marcus watches quietly, observing the signs, teaching the boy to notice patterns in silence. The city rests below, streets empty, lanterns glowing faintly, doors closed. The soft scent of evening meals has faded, replaced by the cool night air. The mountain looms, silent and immense, its presence a quiet weight on the horizon. Breathe slowly, listener. Feel the cool air, the soft shadows, the rhythm of a city in the quiet night. Let your mind follow the gentle pulse beneath your feet, the slow watchfulness of the sleeping mountain. A gentle ashfall begins, tiny flakes drifting through the night air. They settle softly on rooftops, streets, and the domus of Marcus's family. The sound is barely perceptible, a soft whisper across tiles and stones. Citizens brush the flakes from their shoulders, adjusting lightly, continuing their sleep or quiet tasks. Marcus notices the shift, the soft covering of gray over familiar surfaces. Smoke continues to rise from Vesuvius, steady, curling in slow arcs. Tremors ripple faintly beneath your feet. The city is calm, ordinary, yet tinged with subtle signs of change, like a soft melody played slightly off-key. Imagine the flakes settling on your skin, listener, soft, gentle, quiet, a slow rhythm wrapping the city in muted gray. The city is almost entirely still. Lanterns glow faintly, casting warm circles of light in the atriums and doorways. The wind is gentle, rustling leaves, carrying faint scents of distant herbs and soft ash. Tremors pulse softly beneath the stone streets, rhythmic and unhurried. Marcus and his family rest quietly. Lamps flicker, casting long, stretching shadows. The soft ash continues to settle, muting the colors of the domus and streets. Vesuvius rises dark and immense against the night sky, smoke curling slowly like a ribbon of shadow. Breathe deeply, listener, the gentle pulse of Pompeii, the soft gray blanket settling over it, the mountain watching silently above. Everything is calm, ordinary, a quiet lull before the day begins again. The faint clatter of a distant cart, the soft bark of a dog, the whisper of wind through streets, all mix into a quiet nighttime symphony. Marcus and Livia exchange no words, simply observing their resting children, listening to the slow rhythm of the city. The tremors continue, gentle, intermittent, as though the earth itself is breathing. Smoke rises lazily from Vesuvius, curling into the sky. Ash flakes continue to drift down, coating rooftops and streets in soft gray. The world feels heavy, calm, slow. Notice the quiet, listener, the soft, measured heartbeat of Pompeii, the gentle settling of ash, the slow awareness of a mountain in patient watch. Let this rhythm ease your mind and body. Pompeii rests under the soft cloak of night. Lanterns flicker in quiet atriums. The soft rustle of servants finishing chores fades. Tremors pulse faintly, barely noticed. Smoke rises above the sleeping city, dark and twisting slowly in the night. Marcus's family lies quietly in their chambers. The soft warmth of the lamps, the gentle settling of ash, the faint distant sounds of the city all create a slow, hypnotic rhythm. The mountain watches silently, immense and patient. Breathe with the city, listener. Let the ordinary, gentle night of Pompeii envelop you. Feel the calm, the rhythm, the subtle pulse beneath your feet. Sleep lightly, as the mountain sleeps too, watching. The first light of morning filters weakly through a soft gray sky. Ash drifts lazily, settling on rooftops and streets, muting colors into gentle shades of gray and brown. The city is quiet, almost hushed, as if holding its breath. The air smells faintly of earth and fire from the distant mountain. Marcus rises first, observing the subtle blanket covering Pompeii. Quintus follows, brushing a layer of ash from the windowsill. Julia yawns softly, still leaning against her mother. Tremors pulse beneath the stone streets, gentle and irregular, a quiet rhythm the city is slowly learning to live with. Citizens begin to stir cautiously. Soft footsteps echo through empty streets. A dog wanders lazily past, leaving faint prints in the ash. The smoke at Vesuvius's peak rises steadily, curling slowly like a ribbon of shadow. Life continues, measured and deliberate, yet the mountain looms quietly, immense and patient, watching over Pompeii. Breathe slowly, listener. Let the soft gray morning, the gentle ash, and the slow pulse of the city settle over your mind. The city moves in gentle rhythms again. Soft voices drift from nearby homes. Children awaken slowly, rubbing eyes, noticing the quiet ash settling on windowsills and courtyards. Dogs stretch and yawn, meandering through the muted streets. Marcus instructs the slaves to brush ash from the atrium and steps. Livia prepares a simple meal of bread, olives, and watered-down wine. Quintus observes quietly, helping when needed, while Julia watches the drifting flakes outside. Tremors continue faintly, a gentle reminder of the mountain's presence. Smoke rises higher now, darkening slightly against the pale sky. Citizens pause in their tasks occasionally, observing, murmuring softly. Life is ordinary, yet tinged with subtle tension. Each step, each gesture, feels deliberate, slow, and mindful, as the city adapts to the quiet ash that drapes it like a soft gray blanket. Walk with Marcus and his family through streets now muted by ash. The cobblestones feel soft beneath their feet. Shops are quiet, a few merchants sweep ash from counters. Birds flutter in the trees, leaving delicate traces on the muted streets. Tremors pulse gently underfoot, irregular yet soft. Smoke curls above Vesuvius, rising higher and darkening. Citizens move cautiously, stepping over ash-covered debris. A child skips a few stones, careful to avoid slipping. Marcus glances upward, noting the subtle change in the mountain's presence, while Quintus follows attentively, learning patience and observation. Notice, listener, the slow rhythm of the city, the hush, the soft weight of ash, the gentle pulse beneath stone. The world feels ordinary, measured, yet shadowed by the silent mountain watching patiently above. The small market stirs slowly. Merchants sweep ash from counters, arranging fruits and vegetables carefully. The scent of bread mixes softly with earthy ash. Children play quietly, mindful of the soft gray layer on the stones. Marcus exchanges soft words with a vendor, glancing occasionally at the sky. Smoke rises steadily from Vesuvius, curling in slow spirals. Tremors ripple gently beneath your feet. The city continues in careful rhythm, slow and deliberate. Citizens move with mindfulness, each step measured, each gesture gentle. Breathe deeply, listener. The quiet market, the soft settling ash, the gentle sway of the world around you. Feel the slow rhythm of life in Pompeii, calm and ordinary, even as the mountain looms in patient silence. Returning home, the Lucretius family notices ash gathering on their atrium. Slaves sweep gently, moving in slow, deliberate arcs. Marcus lights a lamp, soft flickers illuminating the gray floor. Livia arranges food, placing bread and olives neatly, while Julia traces patterns in the thin ash layer on the steps. The tremors beneath the stone pulse like a heartbeat. Smoke rises higher, darker, twisting gently into the sky. The family moves cautiously, yet life remains ordinary. The world outside seems quiet, muted, soft. Feel the soft ash settling around you, listener, the warmth of the lamp, the gentle rhythm of quiet chores, the slow pulse of the city beneath your feet. The mountain waits patiently, immense, silent, watching. A gentle breeze stirs through the streets of Pompeii, lifting ash in slow, lazy spirals. Leaves rustle softly in courtyards. Lanterns sway faintly. The tremors beneath stone remain subtle, gentle, like a heartbeat felt through soles of feet. Marcus and Quintus observe from the window. Julia leans against Livia, sleepy but curious, watching ash drift past. Smoke rises steadily from the mountain, curling in slow, deliberate patterns. Citizens move with calm purpose, brushing ash from roofs and windowsills. Notice the rhythm, listener. Soft, steady, hypnotic. The city moves like a slow river under gentle gray skies, the mountain above patient and immense, its silent watch unbroken. Marcus pauses in the atrium. Light filters through ash, muted and soft, casting long, gentle shadows across the mosaic floor. Quintus follows, brushing ash lightly from the steps. Julia leans against Livia, eyes heavy with sleep. The tremors beneath your feet ripple softly, a gentle pulse of the earth. Smoke from Vesuvius rises higher, dark and curling, yet slow, hypnotic. Outside, the city moves cautiously, each step measured, each action deliberate. Life is ordinary, yet shaded by subtle signs of change. Breathe with the family, listener, the warmth of stone, the soft settling ash, the gentle rhythm of Pompeii beneath the watchful mountain. The sun tilts westward, casting long, soft shadows over the muted city. Ash settles gently on rooftops, streets, and courtyards. Citizens move slowly, footsteps careful on the soft gray layer. The tremors continue faintly, a quiet, irregular pulse beneath the city. Marcus guides his family through familiar streets. Quintus observes carefully. Julia traces a pattern in ash on the steps. Smoke rises from Vesuvius, curling in slow, hypnotic arcs, its presence immense but patient. The city moves in gentle rhythm, life ordinary, measured, calm. Notice, listener, the soft shadows, the gentle settling ash, the quiet pulse beneath the stones, the mountain watching silently above. Twilight deepens slowly. Lanterns are lit, flickering softly against muted walls. The tremors pulse gently beneath the streets, a faint heartbeat beneath the city. Ash drifts lazily, settling softly. The scent of evening meals drifts through open windows. Marcus checks doors and windows, ensuring all is secure. Quintus and Julia sit quietly, observing the settling world. Smoke rises from Vesuvius, curling in slow spirals against the darkening sky. Life continues, calm and measured. Breathe slowly, listener. Let the quiet evening, the soft settling ash, and the patient mountain lull your mind, settling it gently into the rhythm of Pompeii. Night descends fully. Lanterns glow softly. The city is quiet, muted under the gentle gray blanket of ash. Tremors ripple softly beneath stone streets. Marcus and his family rest quietly. The lamp flickers softly, casting long, gentle shadows. Smoke from Vesuvius curls higher, dark and slow, twisting like a ribbon in the night sky. Citizens sleep cautiously, dogs curl up in corners, soft sounds of the night filling the spaces between buildings. The mountain watches silently, immense, patient. Listen, listener, feel the slow, steady pulse beneath your feet, the soft settling ash, the calm rhythm of Pompeii at night. Everything is ordinary, gentle, meditative, ready to lull you deeper into sleep. Morning begins slowly, the gray blanket of ash still covering rooftops and streets. A faint breeze stirs the ash, lifting it in soft spirals before it settles again. Marcus steps carefully through the muted streets, his family close behind, each footfall gentle against the soft gray layer. Citizens move in measured rhythm. A baker sweeps ash from the steps of his shop. A child lifts a small stone and watches it sink softly into the ash. Tremors pulse faintly beneath the stones, almost imperceptible, like the slow heartbeat of the earth. Smoke curls lazily from Vesuvius, its immense presence unchanging, patient, yet quietly commanding attention. Notice, listener, the soft weight of ash, the muted rhythm of life, the gentle pulse beneath your feet. The city breathes slowly, wrapped in gray, while the mountain watches silently, immense and still. In the Lucretius Domus, life resumes with slow care. Slaves sweep ash from the atrium and steps. Livia prepares a simple meal, the faint aroma of bread and olives mixing with the soft, earthy scent of ash. Marcus inspects the doors and windows, ensuring they are secure. Quintus observes carefully, learning to notice subtle changes in light, air, and sound. Julia leans against her mother, tracing delicate patterns in the thin layer of ash on the floor. Tremors continue beneath the stones, gentle yet consistent. Smoke rises steadily from Vesuvius, curling in hypnotic spirals. Breathe slowly, listener. Let the soft rhythms, the clink of pottery, the swish of sweeping, the gentle pulse of the earth wrap you in calm. Feel the quiet, ordinary morning in Pompeii. Walk slowly with the family along Pompeii's streets. Ash mats rooftops and cobblestones, softening colors into gentle grays and muted browns. A dog sniffs at footprints in the ash. Citizens move carefully, stepping over scattered debris, sweeping softly, talking in low, deliberate tones. Tremors ripple gently beneath stone. Smoke rises from Vesuvius, curling lazily, a slow, deliberate presence. Life feels ordinary yet measured, mindful as citizens adapt to the gentle gray covering everything. Marcus pauses, observing the subtle shifts in the mountain, teaching Quintus patience and attention. Notice, listener, the hush, the soft steps, the gentle pulse of the city, the mountain looming above. Everything moves slowly, in rhythm, hypnotic and calming. The small marketplace is muted beneath a layer of ash. Merchants sweep counters and floors slowly, arranging fruits and vegetables with care. Children tiptoe around soft piles of ash, their movements measured and quiet. The air smells faintly of bread, earthy ash, and distant smoke. Marcus exchanges soft words with a vendor. Smoke rises steadily from Vesuvius, dark and curling, visible against pale skies. Tremors continue beneath the streets, a gentle heartbeat felt through stone. Citizens act deliberately, slowly, mindful of each movement, each step, the ordinary rhythm of life persisting despite the muted gray world. Breathe deeply, listener. The soft gray, the gentle hum of daily life, the slow rhythm of Pompeii beneath a patient mountain. The family moves slowly back to their domus. Ash settles softly on steps, rooftops, and courtyards. Slaves brush it away in deliberate motions. Lamps flicker softly inside, illuminating muted mosaics and quiet corners. Marcus checks doors, shutters, and small windows, the routine calm yet watchful. Tremors pulse faintly beneath stone streets. Smoke rises lazily from Vesuvius, dark and curling. Life continues, ordinary and gentle. Julia traces patterns in the soft ash on the steps. Quintus observes, learning patience. Marcus and Livia move quietly, guiding their children, the soft rhythm of daily life undisturbed by the slow, looming presence of the mountain. Notice, listener, the hush, the slow motions, the gentle rhythm of Pompeii beneath patient, silent Vesuvius. A gentle breeze moves through the streets of Pompeii, lifting ash into small, lazy spirals before it settles softly again. Leaves rustle gently. Lanterns sway faintly. Tremors continue beneath stone, subtle and slow. Marcus and Quintus observe from the window. Julia leans against Livia, sleepy and calm, watching ash drift past. Smoke rises from the mountain in slow spirals. Citizens move carefully, brushing away ash or sweeping steps. Life feels ordinary, soft, and measured, the mountain's presence immense but hypnotically patient. Breathe, listener, let the slow rhythm of ash, wind, and subtle tremors soothe you. The world is gentle and ordinary beneath the watching mountain. The sun is faint, muted by a thickening gray sky. Ash settles gently on rooftops and streets. Marcus and his family move slowly through the atrium. Lamps flicker softly, casting long, gentle shadows. Tremors ripple faintly beneath stone. Smoke rises steadily from Vesuvius, curling lazily in the warm air. Citizens move carefully, each action deliberate, each step slow. A child sweeps ash from the street, a dog curls near a doorway, and merchants arrange soft piles of produce. The rhythm is hypnotic, steady, measured, unhurried. Marcus observes quietly, teaching Quintes to notice subtle patterns in light, air, and movement. Notice, listener, the soft warmth, the muted sounds, the gentle pulse beneath your feet. Pompeii breathes slowly, calm and ordinary beneath the immense, patient mountain. Shadows grow long as the muted sun tilts westward. Ash drifts lazily, coating streets, rooftops, and courtyards in soft gray. Citizens move cautiously, each step careful. Tremors continue faintly, a gentle heartbeat beneath the city. Marcus guides his family slowly through familiar streets. Smoke rises steadily, curling hypnotically from Vesuvius. Life is ordinary, quiet, deliberate. Julia traces soft patterns in ash on steps. Quintes observes and learns patience and awareness. Feel the rhythm, listener, the hush, the gentle settling ash, the slow pulse beneath the streets, the patient presence of the mountain above. Twilight descends slowly. Lanterns flicker, casting warm light across the muted city. Tremors ripple faintly beneath streets. Ash drifts softly, settling over rooftops and streets. Marcus ensures his family is safe and calm. Smoke rises from Vesuvius, curling slowly into the darkening sky. Citizens move cautiously, completing evening chores, brushing ash from rooftops or steps. Life continues in a measured rhythm. Julia leans against Livia, sleepy. Quintes sits quietly, observing. The city feels hypnotically calm, muted, ordinary. Breathe slowly, listener. Let the gentle hush of twilight, the soft ash, and the mountain's patient presence wrap around you. Night settles fully over Pompeii. Lanterns glow softly, illuminating muted streets and courtyards. Tremors pulse faintly beneath stone. Marcus and his family rest quietly. The lamp flickers gently, casting long shadows. Smoke from Vesuvius rises slowly, twisting like a ribbon against the dark sky. Citizens sleep cautiously, dogs curl up nearby, and a soft wind stirs. Life is muted, ordinary, and hypnotic. The mountain watches silently, immense and patient, holding the city in gentle suspense. Listener, feel the slow pulse beneath your feet, the hush of ash, the rhythm of Pompeii at night. Everything moves softly, measuredly, preparing you for sleep beneath the patient mountain. Dawn rises slowly over Pompeii, the gray sky muted by layers of ash. Gentle flakes drift lazily down, settling softly on rooftops, streets, and courtyards. Marcus steps outside briefly, observing the quiet rhythm of the city, the subtle hum of morning activity beneath a thin layer of gray. Citizens move with care. A baker sweeps ash from his steps, while children trace soft patterns in the streets. Tremors pulse gently beneath stone, a quiet reminder of the mountain's presence. Smoke rises steadily from Vesuvius, curling in slow, hypnotic spirals. Notice, listener, the hush, the soft weight of ash, the gentle pulse beneath your feet. Life continues quietly, ordinary, calm, yet the immense mountain looms silently, patient and watchful. Life unfolds gently in the Lucretius Domus. Livia prepares bread and olives, the faint aroma mingling with soft, earthy ash. Julia traces small patterns in the thin gray layer on the steps. Quintes observes quietly, brushing ash from the windowsill. Marcus moves deliberately, checking doors and shutters. Tremors ripple softly beneath stone floors. Smoke rises steadily from Vesuvius, twisting slowly in the cool morning air. Citizens outside move carefully, stepping over soft ash and debris, each motion slow, measured, deliberate. The mountain remains immense and silent, a hypnotic presence above the city. Breathe deeply, listener, letting the gentle rhythms, the clink of utensils, the soft swish of sweeping, the pulse beneath your feet, ease your mind and body. Marcus and his family move slowly through streets muted by ash. Cobblestones feel soft underfoot. Shops are quiet, few merchants stirring. Birds flutter lazily in trees, leaving faint marks on ash-covered streets. Tremors pulse gently beneath stone, subtle, hypnotic. Smoke curls lazily above Vesuvius, immense and patient. Citizens move deliberately, sweeping, adjusting, stepping carefully. Each gesture is slow and mindful. Life feels ordinary, quiet, yet tinged with gentle anticipation, the soft hum of ash settling over everything like a lullaby. Notice, listener, the hush, the muted colors, the soft pulse beneath your feet, the quiet presence of the mountain above. The marketplace is quiet under a blanket of ash. Fruits and vegetables are arranged slowly. Merchants sweep floors gently, children tiptoe, careful not to disturb soft piles. The air carries faint scents of bread and earth, mingled with smoke drifting from the mountain. Marcus exchanges soft words with a vendor, his eyes lifting occasionally to the distant smoke. Tremors ripple beneath streets, gentle and measured. Citizens move with quiet purpose, deliberate and careful, adapting to the soft gray world around them. Life is ordinary, hypnotically calm, the mountain immense and silent. Breathe slowly, listener. The muted market, the soft ash, the gentle rhythm of Pompeii beneath the patient mountain. The family moves through familiar streets, ash drifting softly onto steps and rooftops. Slaves sweep gently, lamps flicker in warm glow, and muted mosaics shine faintly under the gray morning. Marcus checks shutters, ensuring calm and security. Tremors pulse faintly beneath stone. Smoke rises lazily from Vesuvius. Life continues ordinary, slow, and measured. Julia traces patterns in ash. Quintus watches quietly, Marcus guides gently. The world feels calm, muted, hypnotic, yet beneath the surface, the mountain's silent presence is immense. Notice, listener, the hush, the rhythm, the muted colors, the patient watch of the mountain above. A soft wind stirs through Pompeii's streets, lifting ash in gentle spirals before it settles again. Leaves rustle softly. Lanterns sway slightly. Tremors ripple quietly beneath stone streets. Marcus and Quintus observe from the windowsill. Julia leans against Livia, eyes heavy with sleep. Smoke curls lazily from Vesuvius. Citizens move slowly, brushing ash from rooftops, sweeping steps, each motion deliberate and calming. Life feels ordinary and gentle beneath the mountain's silent gaze. Breathe, listener. Let the soft rhythms of ash, wind, and faint tremors soothe you. The city is calm, the mountain immense and patient. The muted sun struggles to shine through the gray sky. Ash drifts down softly, covering streets, rooftops, and courtyards. Tremors pulse faintly beneath the city, subtle, hypnotic. Marcus guides his family slowly through quiet streets. Smoke rises steadily, curling in slow arcs above the mountain. Citizens move carefully, sweeping or brushing ash from doorways. Julia traces soft patterns in the settling layer. Quintus observes, learning patience. Life continues measured, ordinary, calm. Notice, listener, the soft warmth, the gentle pulse beneath your feet, the muted colors, the mountain's patient presence above. Shadows stretch as the sun tilts westward, muted under ash-laden skies. Citizens move cautiously. Tremors continue beneath stone, subtle and slow. Ash drifts softly over rooftops, streets, and courtyards. Marcus walks with his family, guiding each step. Smoke curls steadily from Vesuvius. Life is ordinary, quiet, deliberate, hypnotic. Julia and Quintus move slowly, observing, learning. The city feels muted, wrapped in calm gray, the mountain immense and watchful above. Breathe slowly, listener. The hush, the soft ash, the gentle pulse beneath the streets, the patient presence of the mountain. Twilight descends. Lanterns glow softly, flickering in muted streets and atriums. Tremors pulse faintly beneath stone. Ash settles gently over rooftops. Marcus ensures his family is safe. Smoke rises steadily from Vesuvius, twisting slowly. Citizens complete evening chores in soft rhythm. Julia leans against Livia, sleepy, quiet. Quintus observes, patient and calm. The city is hypnotically quiet, ordinary, muted. The mountain looms silently, immense and patient, a constant presence. Breathe deeply, listener. The hush, the soft settling ash, the calm rhythm of Pompeii beneath the mountain. Night fully descends. Lanterns glow softly, illuminating muted streets and courtyards. Tremors ripple faintly beneath stone. The family rests quietly. Lamps flicker gently, casting long shadows. Smoke from Vesuvius curls lazily into the night sky. Citizens sleep cautiously, dogs curl in corners. Life feels muted, ordinary, hypnotic. The mountain watches silently, immense, patient, as Pompeii breathes slowly, wrapped in a soft gray blanket. Listener, feel the gentle rhythm beneath your feet, the hush of ash, the calm of Pompeii at night. Everything is slow, ordinary, hypnotic, ready to ease you toward sleep beneath the mountain's patient gaze. The morning light filters weakly through the ash-laden sky, casting a soft, muted glow across Pompeii. Dust drifts lazily, settling gently on rooftops, streets, and the mosaic floors of homes. Marcus steps out briefly, feeling the faint pulse of tremors beneath the stone, subtle, almost imperceptible, like the slow heartbeat of the earth. Quintus follows, brushing ash from the steps, while Julia leans against Livia, tracing delicate patterns in the soft gray layer covering the atrium. Smoke curls lazily from Vesuvius, immense and patient, rising in hypnotic spirals into the muted sky. Notice, listener, the soft gray world, the gentle settling ash, the calm rhythm of Pompeii. Life moves slowly, deliberate, soothing, under the watchful, silent presence of the mountain. Slaves sweep the atrium in slow, deliberate arcs, lifting ash without hurry. Livia prepares bread and olives, the faint aroma mingling with the earthy scent of ash drifting in from outside. Marcus moves quietly, checking doors and shutters, ensuring everything remains calm and orderly. Tremors ripple softly beneath stone floors, subtle and hypnotic. Smoke from Vesuvius rises steadily, curling in slow arcs against the pale morning sky. Citizens outside move with measured steps, brushing ash from rooftops or sweeping lightly from streets. Life continues ordinary, quiet, and gentle, the mountain immense and patient above. Breathe slowly, listener, letting the soft rhythms, the swish of sweeping, the gentle pulse beneath your feet, soothe your mind and body. Marcus and his family walk slowly through streets muted by the ashfall. Cobblestones feel soft beneath their feet. Shops are quiet, few merchants stir. Birds flutter lazily, leaving faint impressions on the ash-covered streets. Tremors pulse gently beneath stone, subtle and hypnotic. Smoke rises from Vesuvius, curling in slow, deliberate spirals. Citizens move carefully, sweeping, brushing, stepping softly. Each gesture is measured, deliberate, and calming. Life feels ordinary, gentle, and soothing under the soft gray blanket of ash. Notice, listener, the hush, the muted colors, the gentle pulse beneath your feet, the patient presence of the mountain above. The marketplace moves slowly under the blanket of ash. Merchants sweep floors gently, arranging fruits and vegetables with care. Children tiptoe softly, avoiding soft piles. The air carries faint scents of bread, earth, and distant smoke from the mountain. Marcus exchanges soft words with a vendor, his gaze lifting occasionally to observe the hypnotic curl of smoke. Tremors ripple faintly beneath the streets, subtle, calming. Citizens move in quiet rhythm, deliberate, measured. Life is ordinary, hypnotically soft, beneath the mountain's silent, immense presence. Breathe deeply, listener, the muted market, the gentle ash, the steady rhythm of Pompeii under patient Vesuvius. The family moves back through familiar streets, ash drifting lazily onto rooftops and steps. Slaves sweep gently, lamps flicker warmly, mosaics shine softly under the gray morning light. Marcus checks doors and shutters, guiding the family calmly. Tremors pulse faintly beneath stone streets. Smoke rises from Vesuvius in hypnotic spirals. Life continues ordinary, measured, gentle. Julia traces patterns in ash. Quintus observes quietly, Marcus leads slowly. The city feels muted, hypnotic, calm, wrapped in a soft gray blanket, the mountain immense and patient above. Notice, listener, the hush, the rhythm, the patient mountain, the muted gray world. A soft wind stirs through Pompeii's streets, lifting ash in slow spirals before it settles again. Leaves rustle faintly. Lanterns sway gently. Tremors ripple quietly beneath stone. Marcus and Quintus observe from a window. Julia leans against Livia, sleepy and calm, watching ash drift past. Citizens sweep rooftops or steps slowly, deliberate and measured. Life continues ordinary, hypnotic, calm. The mountain looms silently, immense and patient, as the city breathes slowly beneath its watch. Breathe, listener, the soft ash, the gentle wind, the slow rhythm beneath your feet. The world is calm, ordinary, hypnotically slow. The muted sun hangs behind a gray, ash-laden sky. Ash drifts down slowly, coating streets, rooftops, and courtyards. Tremors ripple softly beneath the city, subtle, hypnotic. Marcus walks slowly through quiet streets with his family. Smoke rises steadily from Vesuvius, curling lazily in arcs. Citizens move with deliberate care, sweeping or brushing ash from doorways. Julia traces patterns in ash on steps. Quintus observes quietly. Life continues measured, ordinary, hypnotic, calm. Notice, listener, the soft warmth, the gentle pulse beneath your feet, the muted gray colors, the patient presence of the mountain above. Shadows grow long as the sun tilts westward, muted beneath ash-heavy skies. Citizens move cautiously. Tremors continue beneath stone, subtle and slow. Ash drifts lazily over rooftops and streets. Marcus guides his family, slow and careful. Smoke curls steadily from Vesuvius. Life is ordinary, hypnotically calm, deliberate. Julia and Quintus move slowly, observing, learning patience. The city feels muted, calm, soft, the mountain immense and patient above. Breathe slowly, listener, the hush, the soft ash, the gentle pulse beneath the streets, the silent mountain above. Twilight deepens. Lanterns glow softly, flickering over muted streets. Tremors ripple faintly beneath stone. Ash settles gently over rooftops. Marcus ensures his family is calm and secure. Smoke rises steadily from Vesuvius, curling slowly. Citizens move softly, completing evening chores, brushing ash gently from steps and rooftops. Life is hypnotically quiet, ordinary, muted. The mountain looms silently, immense and patient, as Pompeii breathes slowly beneath a soft gray blanket. Notice, listener, the gentle hush, the soft settling ash, the calm rhythm of the city beneath the mountain's patient gaze. Night fully descends. Lanterns glow warmly in muted streets and courtyards. Tremors pulse faintly beneath stone. The family rests quietly. Lamps flicker, casting long, soft shadows. Smoke from Vesuvius rises lazily, twisting slowly against the dark sky. Citizens sleep cautiously, dogs curl in corners. Life feels muted, ordinary, hypnotic. The mountain watches silently, immense, patient, as Pompeii breathes slowly, wrapped in a soft gray blanket of ash. Listener, feel the gentle rhythm beneath your feet, the hush of ash, the calm of Pompeii at night. Everything is slow, measured, hypnotic, easing you towards sleep beneath the patient mountain. In the room, shadows stretch long across the ash-laden floor. Titus, still clutching Julia, breathes shallowly, his chest rising and falling with immense effort. Drusilla touches Livia's arm, feeling the warmth fade, a silent gesture of loyalty. Marcus presses Quintus to his chest, murmuring fragments of words that trail into silence. The pyroelastic surge outside continues its relentless descent, a rolling sea of heat and debris. The ash falls in waves, creating soft, suffocating layers over every surface. Outside, rooftops crumble under pumice, streets vanish under gray blankets, the city's heartbeat slowing. The family has no awareness of the history they will leave behind, of the plastered molds that will emerge millennia later. Their final tableau, frozen in space and time, is a quiet testament to human devotion, fear, and love. The world of Pompeii slips into shadow, but the memory of this intimate scene will survive in stone and plaster. Pompeii's streets grow still. Shops are shuttered, fountains clogged with ash. The tremors persist faintly, almost rhythmic, as if the city itself is breathing its last. The pyroelastic flows sweep through neighborhoods, claiming rooftops and courtyards alike. Citizens' desperate attempts to flee are thwarted by falling debris, choked alleys, and disorientation in the darkened sky. The ash settles gently over mosaics and frescoes, over markets and amphitheaters, softening edges, filling voids. Life's vibrancy becomes a muted memory, frozen in the delicate gray. Every step, every object, every fallen leaf is preserved beneath the accumulating layers of pumice. Though the people of Pompeii cannot know it, their city is becoming a remarkable time capsule, a window into the pulse of Roman life at its most human and intimate. The volcanic surge rolls through streets with inexorable force. Heat scorches every surface, every breath becomes impossible. Doors, walls, and rooftops collapse, sweeping away any final resistance. Where humans once thrived, ash and pumice now reign, covering bodies, tools, food, and memories alike. The first roar of destruction fades into an eerie, ash-filled calm. Smoke drifts higher, mingling with dusk's muted light. The city appears empty, yet beneath the layers of volcanic debris, lives are paused mid-motion. Fingers still curled around handles of cups, coins rest in unspent purses, shoes lie abandoned near doorways. Pompeii becomes a ghostly tableau, silent, gray, and suspended, waiting for centuries to reveal its story. In a small thermopolium, Vetusius Placidus jars still hold traces of the day's hot stews. Behind the counter, Astia's careful arrangements of bowls, coins, and utensils remain untouched. The pregnant woman, now a silent figure on a bench, rests in a pose of exhaustion and vulnerability. The ash has preserved them, their humanity, their final act of compassion immortalized in soft gray sediment. Outside, rooftops sag under the pumice. Streets disappear under gentle yet unrelenting ashfall. The noise of fleeing citizens has vanished, replaced by a surreal, almost hypnotic hush. The city's pulse slows to a whisper, the rhythm of life giving way to the rhythm of falling ash. Each layer builds, sealing Pompeii in time, preserving ordinary life in extraordinary detail. Across the Bay of Naples, young Pliny the Younger observes the growing pine-shaped cloud of Vesuvius. The sight is hypnotic and terrifying, a living sculpture of destruction. He records every detail meticulously in his mind: the height of the plume, the spreading branches, the growing darkness over the horizon. Messages from friends arrive, urgent and pleading. The sea behaves strangely, receding unnaturally, revealing stranded marine life. Tremors shake the earth beneath Missum, but Pliny remains calm with his mother, holding her hand, trying to anchor both himself and her in a semblance of normality. His uncle, Pliny the Elder, sails toward the disaster, embodying duty and curiosity, leaving the younger Pliny behind to witness, record, and survive. Darkness envelopes Missum, though it is still daytime. The ashfall thickens, transforming skies into a solid veil of black. People tie cloth to their heads for protection. Cries and prayers mingle with the sound of wind and distant eruptions. Pliny the Younger remains close to his mother, holding on to her as the city braces. The elder Pliny is lost to the eruption, swallowed by the sea and toxic fumes. Yet this separation, this survival, ensures the account that will preserve Pompeii for history. The distant roar of the mountain is both terrifying and hypnotic, a rhythm that mirrors the silent decay and preservation happening in the doomed city. In Pompeii, Celadus pauses to assess the growing danger. His trainer, Saturninus, notes the unusual cloud. The eruption defies comprehension. Celadus' instincts take over. He becomes a guide, leading citizens away from streets, offering protection, and enforcing calm in chaos. Strength, skill, and authority provide temporary safety. Children are carried, the elderly assisted. Yet even the mightiest are powerless against nature's fury. The pyrolastic surges eventually overtake them, freezing their final moments in selfless courage. Their bodies, later encased in ash, will tell a story not of combat, but of compassion and bravery. Aulus and Numerius Vetus attempt escape with their household. Buildings collapse, forcing them to take refuge in a nearby workshop. The pyrolastic surge penetrates the thick walls, overwhelming masters and slaves alike. In their final posture, Numerius cradles his injured brother, slaves huddle nearby, one woman holds a child. Death erases the social hierarchy, revealing a shared humanity. These poses are preserved in ash, eventually filled with plaster, giving future generations a haunting glimpse into the personal tragedies woven through Pompeii's destruction. Vetutius delays evacuation to serve those fleeing closer to the volcano. Business thrives briefly, but conditions deteriorate rapidly. He finally secures coins and jewelry with his family. Compassion for an exhausted, pregnant woman delays them further. By nightfall, the group is trapped inside the thermopolium, succumbing to ash and pumice. Archaeologists centuries later find their bodies, coins still in the strongbox, frozen mid-action. Ordinary life, compassion, and disaster are captured in intimate detail, telling a story that survives millennia. Pompeii lies under its blanket of ash. Streets, homes, and bodies are frozen. The pyroelastic surges continue elsewhere, but here, silence prevails. The rhythm of falling ash is like a lullaby, soft yet insistent, layering the city in a gray, eternal shroud. The mountain rests, Pompeii sleeps. The city waits, a time capsule preserving daily life in all its intimacy, meals, toys, graffiti, frescoes, pets, and families. The story of its people will survive through stone, plaster, and ash, waiting for discovery centuries later. To the west of Pompeii, Herculaneum faces a different, more merciless fate. The pyroclastic surges arrive here with unstoppable force, heavier, denser, cement-like in their consistency. Streets vanish beneath the molten ash. Buildings collapse instantly, leaving little trace of the daily bustle. Unlike Pompeii, where life's impressions are gently molded, Herculaneum's residents are carbonized. Flesh, clothing, and expressions are preserved as if vitrified. The city is silent, suffocating under the unyielding weight of the eruption. Victims frozen mid-step, fingers clenched, heads bowed, tell their own stories of suddenness, terror, and finality. The contrast between Pompeii and Herculaneum will, centuries later, provide archaeologists with a profound understanding of volcanic power and its different effects depending on topography and proximity. In Pompeii, the streets are eerily intact beneath the ash. Wheel ruts mark the cobblestones, stepping stones rise above streets now buried in pumice. Shops and houses, once filled with laughter and argument, lie in perfect suspension. A baker's oven holds loaves untouched, their crusts hardened yet recognizable. Small amphorae lean in corners, their labels invisible under ash, yet whispering of trade, commerce, and domestic life. Each street is a narrative. Citizens once hurrying to work, children running errands, dogs straining at leashes, all frozen in time. The ash is both executioner and preserver, erasing daily noise while safeguarding intimate details. Time itself bends here, decades folding into centuries as life pauses in Pompeii's streets. Graffiti on walls offers voices from the past, love notes, insults, political slogans. Celadus, the Thracian gladiator, is the delight of all the girls, one proclaims. Another, simpler, I made bread here, baker Proculus, records labor's quiet dignity. These words survive, etched in ash and plaster, immortalized without intent. Inside homes, frescoes depict myth, daily routines, and business dealings. Kitchens still contain utensils and cooking vessels. Shops display unspent goods. The ash preserves both the spectacular and mundane. Even the smallest fragments, a coin, a cup, a toy, carry meaning, granting future generations insight into lives interrupted mid-motion. Centuries later, in the 18th century, accidental rediscovery begins. Domenico Fontana notes walls and inscriptions while diverting the Sano River. Few understand their importance. Later, in 1738, workers uncover statues while digging foundations for King Charles of Bourbon's summer palace. Excitement focuses on beauty and treasure rather than context. Artifacts are removed to decorate palaces or private collections. Walls are defaced to extract frescoes. Objects are sold or transported. The city beneath remains misunderstood, its value as a historical time capsule only beginning to be appreciated. Context is lost, but hints of life survive in bits and pieces, waiting for a more careful hand to uncover the whole story. Paolo, a young worker in the 1740s, scrapes ash from a compacted room. His trowel reveals a glint, a small bronze lamp shaped like a shoe. His heart races at the thought of reward, yet he feels a pang of loss as the object is removed. The room holds more: vibrant frescoes, intricate tiles, and the impression of a lived life long silenced. Paolo works cautiously, understanding for the first time that beneath his labor lies a city paused mid-breath. The excavation is slow, laborious, yet revelatory. The mundane and the exquisite are inseparable in this buried world. By 1863, Joseph Fiorelli revolutionizes Pompeii excavations. Instead of treasure hunting, he insists on systematic, scientific excavation. Every structure, every object, every cavity is documented. Ordinary artifacts, utensils, pottery, and toys are valued alongside statues and frescoes. Fiorelli's most significant contribution: plaster casts of human bodies. Hollow cavities in ash reveal the exact posture of victims at death. Workers pour plaster, wait, then chip away the surrounding material. When revealed, these forms astonish: expressions, clothing, and gestures frozen mid-moment, humanized in death, giving modern viewers an intimate connection with tragedy centuries past. On a spring morning, a worker named Marco uncovers a cavity near the Stabian Gate. Fiorelli directs plaster to fill the hollow. Days later, the form is revealed: a man on his back, hands raised defensively, anguish frozen in every line. Scholars gasp. The technique becomes standard: mother cradling child, dog straining at chain, couples embracing, families huddled. Each cast tells a story. Ordinary moments, acts of courage or care, are immortalized. The victim's final gestures transcend time, giving humanity to the incomprehensible scale of disaster. Excavations reveal more than bodies. Carbonized bread remains in ovens, fruits preserved in bowls, meals frozen mid-preparation. Kitchens, thermopolia, and homes reveal habits, diets, and domestic work. The House of the Vedi offers frescoes of myth, trade, and play. The Thermopolium of Vetusius Placidus preserves coins, utensils, and the bodies of a small family and their patrons. These discoveries allow historians to reconstruct daily life: commerce, domesticity, leisure, and labor. Each artifact and cast is a thread in a larger tapestry, showing Roman civilization not as myth or legend, but as lived, human experience. Walls whisper: political slogans, erotic notes, humorous insults, reminders of debts and favors, all etched in ash. They survive centuries untouched, a chorus of Pompeii's voices. The graffiti confirms the stories imagined: Celadus adored, Proculus the baker's presence, lovers' quarrels, debates over commerce. Ordinary concerns are immortal, more immediate than monumental architecture or wealth. Through these marks, the city speaks across centuries, ordinary citizens becoming narrators of their own paused lives. By the late 20th century, archaeologists collaborate with volcanologists, anthropologists, and paleobotanists. Human remains reveal diet, disease, and occupation. Dental analysis shows surprisingly healthy teeth. DNA studies uncover Pompeii's cosmopolitan population. Volcanologists reconstruct the eruption sequence: initial ash columns, deadly pyroclastic flows, and lasting topographical change. Pompeii is no longer merely a site of tragedy. It is a laboratory of history, nature, and human resilience. Every detail, from fresco to fiber, provides insight, bridging millennia in a city frozen yet alive under its ash. Excavations of the House of the Vedi in the late 19th century reveal the wealth and taste of two freedmen brothers. The vibrant frescoes, depicting baksheesh rituals, mythological scenes, and playful cupids, are remarkably preserved. Archaeologists marvel at the rich colors and careful composition. The house's layout, atria, peristyles, triclinia, illustrates Roman domestic architecture and social life. Every room tells a story: Kitchens hold pots and utensils. Dining rooms reveal traces of feasts. Bedrooms preserve beds and couches. Even small, mundane items, a comb, a spindle, a lamp, speak volumes about daily life. The House of the Vetii becomes a symbol of Pompeii's vibrancy, culture, and the lives abruptly interrupted by the eruption. In a narrow corner of Pompeii, the small fast food shop of Vetusius Placidus is unearthed. Its L-shaped counter, jars embedded for storing hot food, and utensils remain intact. Archaeologists find the strongbox containing 683 coins, remnants of a day's work never spent. The back room reveals the bodies of Vetusius, his wife Astia, and the pregnant woman they sheltered. Their final moments, frozen in the plaster casts, reveal compassion and human connection amidst disaster. Here, the ordinary and the tragic meet, giving future generations an intimate view of daily Roman life disrupted forever. Near the amphitheater, the plaster casts of gladiator Celadus and his trainer Saturninus reveal their final moments. Rather than fleeing, they are seen assisting citizens, guiding them to safety even as the pyroclastic surge arrives. The postures, gestures, and expressions captured in plaster speak of courage and humanity. Graffiti on nearby walls corroborates the story, admiration for Celadus, a reminder that even in chaos, acts of care and bravery are remembered. The contrast between violent spectacle and selfless heroism immortalizes them in the city's memory. In kitchens and thermopolia, archaeologists find meals preserved in carbonized form, loaves of bread, fruits, and stews frozen mid-preparation. Cooking utensils, storage jars, and counters offer insight into Roman diets, culinary practices, and household routines. Even small details, a scorched ladle, a clay cup, traces of water, provide evidence of everyday activity. These seemingly trivial remnants illuminate the rhythms of life, the labor of preparation, and the quiet persistence of routine, abruptly halted by the eruption. Walls of Pompeii speak. Graffiti records political slogans, commercial notices, erotic messages, and everyday concerns. "I made bread here, Baker Proculus," one declares. "Celadus delights the girls," another proclaims. These messages are unfiltered, authentic voices of ordinary people. They reveal humor, love, rivalry, and civic engagement. Through graffiti, Pompeii becomes more than a city frozen in ash. It is a city alive with personality, perspective, and individuality. Archaeologists gain not only physical but emotional insight into Roman society. Excavations extend to the Forum, the heart of Pompeii's public life. Temples, markets, basilicas, and municipal buildings are revealed under layers of ash. Columns, inscriptions, and statues survive intact, while streets display stone paving, drains, and stepping stones. Traders' stalls, merchants' goods, and market remains illuminate commerce. Religious artifacts and temple layouts reveal spiritual practices. The Forum, though buried for centuries, provides a microcosm of Roman civic, commercial, and religious life frozen at a precise historical moment. Beyond the city, villas in the countryside, vineyards, and estates are unearthed. Frescoes, mosaics, and domestic tools survive intact, showing the wealth and lifestyles of Pompeii's upper class. Roads lined with stepping stones, signage, and markers illustrate connectivity, travel, and commerce. These discoveries expand understanding of regional life, how the urban and rural spheres interacted, how wealth was displayed, and how ordinary labor and elite luxury coexisted. Each villa is a story, frozen mid-activity, waiting to be read by centuries later observers. Modern volcanologists, studying Pompeii and Herculaneum, reconstruct the eruption of Vesuvius in precise detail. The initial ash column, falling pumice, and pyroclastic surges account for the majority of deaths. The variability of impact, ash in Pompeii, cement-like flows in Herculaneum, is explained by wind, topography, and surge density. Understanding the eruption informs both natural science and historical study. It contextualizes the preservation of Pompeii, explains differential preservation, and provides lessons for modern volcanic risk management. Vesuvius's fury is both a destructive force and a preserver of history. By the 20th century, excavations become scientific and systematic. Preservation techniques advance, including protection of frescoes, mosaics, and artifacts. Interdisciplinary collaboration, anthropology, volcanology, botany, creates a holistic understanding of Pompeii. DNA analysis and osteological studies reveal diet, health, and genetic diversity. Carbonized food, graffiti, and everyday objects reconstruct social life. Plaster casts humanize the disaster. The city, once lost to memory, becomes a laboratory of ancient life, a story frozen in ash and meticulously told across generations. 2/3 of Pompeii is excavated. 1/3 remains intentionally buried for preservation. Streets, homes, shops, temples, and bodies tell stories of ordinary life, ambition, love, and loss. The city's rediscovery demonstrates the paradox of disaster. Total destruction preserves history in exquisite detail. Pompeii becomes a bridge across centuries, revealing not just the moment of catastrophe, but the lives and humanity of its citizens. The rhythm of daily life, forever paused, resonates across time, a city suspended between life and death, rediscovered and immortalized. As excavations progress, archaeologists realize the extraordinary scope of Pompeii's preservation. Streets reveal stepping stones worn by centuries of foot traffic, while sidewalks display ruts from chariots and carts. Public fountains, aqueduct outlets, and wells provide insight into the city's water system. Each discovery, no matter how small, speaks to daily urban life. Even mundane objects, a broom, a pot, a sandal, become vital clues in reconstructing Pompeii's rhythm and texture. The discovery of bakeries, ovens, and stalls reveals the city's thriving commerce. Carbonized loaves, bowls, and cooking utensils show the care and industry of bakers and cooks. Merchant stalls, complete with weights, scales, and jars, demonstrate trade networks and local economy. Each object tells a story of labor, sustenance, and social interaction, reminding us that Pompeii was a living, breathing commercial hub. Beyond the Vetii, other elite houses, such as the House of the Faun and House of the Menander, are uncovered. Mosaics depicting mythological scenes, intricate floor patterns, and decorative frescoes indicate wealth, education, and taste. Villas often include private baths, gardens, and peristyles, illustrating Roman domestic luxury. These discoveries reveal contrasts between social classes and demonstrate how material culture reflected status and identity. Excavations shed light on the lives of the enslaved population. In kitchens, workshops, and service areas, archaeologists find tools, cooking implements, and living quarters. Graffiti and inscriptions sometimes reference household staff. Plaster casts of slaves alongside their masters reveal their fates were intertwined, highlighting social structures and obligations. Their preserved positions provide intimate glimpses into loyalty, fear, and courage at the moment of catastrophe. The amphitheater, theaters, and public spaces reveal Pompeii's cultural life. Gladiatorial contests, musical performances, and dramatic plays left traces in architecture and graffiti. The amphitheater, still retaining seating arrangements, stairways, and walls, shows the organization of public events and social hierarchies in audience placement. Artifacts, inscriptions, and plaster casts of spectators and performers offer insight into entertainment as a central aspect of civic life. Temples, shrines, and altars reveal Pompeii's spiritual life. Frescoes, votive offerings, and inscriptions illustrate devotion to multiple deities: Jupiter, Venus, Apollo, and local household gods, Lares and Penates. Archaeologists find altars in homes and public temples alike, showing how religion was integrated into both public and private life. These objects preserve rituals, prayers, and societal values. Excavated streets demonstrate Roman engineering ingenuity. Pavements are lined with stepping stones, gutters for drainage, and sometimes inscriptions marking distances. Road widths and building placements reveal urban planning. Archaeologists trace the flow of water, sewage, and foot traffic, reconstructing the city's functional and social structure. The streets themselves become artifacts, holding echoes of daily movement and interactions. Archaeologists continue to uncover preserved meals, including bread, fruits, and leftovers, along with storage jars and kitchen implements. These items reveal dietary patterns, culinary techniques, and trade in local and imported foods. The study of carbonized remains provides details about nutrition, social status, and daily habits, showing a society attentive to food and sustenance even as disaster struck. Plaster casts of Pompeii's victims continue to provide intimate, emotional connections to the past. A mother clutching a child, a merchant attempting to shield his goods, and laborers huddled together illustrate universal human behaviors in moments of crisis. Each cast humanizes the statistics of disaster, revealing expressions of fear, care, and despair frozen in time. The casts become a bridge between centuries, linking modern observers with those who perished. Graffiti walls are further documented, revealing layers of writing accumulated over time. Political slogans, personal messages, commercial notices, and jokes demonstrate that Pompeians were witty, opinionated, and socially active. Each scratch, doodle, and declaration provides a direct voice from the past. Unlike artifacts, graffiti conveys personality, daily concerns, and interpersonal communication, allowing historians to hear Pompeii's residents speaking across millennia. Archaeologists uncover the House of the Surgeon, a home and workspace reflecting both domestic life and professional practice. Surgical instruments, including scalpels, forceps, and probes, are preserved, arranged neatly in cupboards. Carbonized medical texts hint at the knowledge of Roman physicians, while nearby plaster casts of victims show the types of injuries common in daily life. The juxtaposition of the personal and professional spaces illustrates how Pompeians integrated work and family life. Pottery workshops, dyeing facilities, and metalworking shops reveal the skilled labor underpinning the city's economy. Kilns, molds, and unfinished goods survive under layers of ash. Archaeologists find tools carefully placed, as though the artisans had been interrupted mid-task. The craftsmanship preserved here shows a combination of practicality and artistry. These workshops highlight the diversity of urban trades, revealing the specialized skills that made Pompeii prosperous. The Forum, Pompeii's civic center, offers insight into public life. Markets, administrative offices, and temples converge here. Archaeologists find inscriptions documenting legal decrees, election results, and public announcements. Coins and weights testify to commerce and taxation, while statues commemorate public figures. The Forum was both marketplace and meeting place, a hub of economic, political, and social life. Its preservation allows scholars to understand how governance and civic pride intersected with daily activity. The public baths reveal social dynamics, hygiene practices, and leisure culture. Hot and cold rooms, steam chambers, and pools are carefully preserved, with frescoes and mosaics decorating the walls. Graffiti on benches suggests casual conversation and playful commentary. The baths were places of social mixing where patrons discussed politics, business, and gossip. These spaces, frozen in time, reveal how Romans combined relaxation, exercise, and interaction in their urban routine. Excavations reveal streets lined with stepping stones, wheel ruts, and drainage channels. Archaeologists trace routes used by carts, pedestrians, and vendors. Horse and donkey harnesses, amphorae, and cart fragments provide evidence of transport logistics. Even litter and discarded objects tell stories of everyday life. Streets were arteries of commerce and communication, connecting neighborhoods, forums, and markets, preserving a city in motion beneath the layers of ash. Outside the city walls, suburban villas offer glimpses into leisure and agriculture. Frescoes, gardens, and private baths indicate wealth and luxury. Storage jars, wine presses, and olive oil amphorae reveal self-sufficient estates. The contrast with densely packed urban housing illustrates economic disparity. These villas preserve not only material culture but also the landscape of Roman life, where urban and rural experiences coexisted within the shadow of Vesuvius. Remnants of temples, altars, and votive offerings reveal seasonal and local religious observances. Graffiti and inscriptions celebrate deities, festivals, and public games. Archaeologists find evidence of sacrificial animals, ceremonial vessels, and ritual paraphernalia. These discoveries reconstruct a society steeped in ritual practice, where religion guided daily life, politics, and personal decisions. The eruption froze these sacred spaces alongside the secular, preserving the spiritual dimension of Pompeii. Excavation of the amphitheater uncovers murals depicting gladiatorial contests and mythological scenes. These paintings show Roman fascination with spectacle, heroism, and entertainment. Graffiti praises favored gladiators, confirming the social significance of games. The amphitheater's preservation offers insights into audience behavior, seating hierarchies, and public engagement, reflecting how Romans combined performance, leisure, and social competition in urban culture. Carbonized foods continue to offer a window into diet. Breads, fruits, and even remnants of sauces reveal preparation methods. Amphorae indicate imported ingredients such as olive oil, wine, and garum, fermented fish sauce. These discoveries illustrate trade networks, culinary taste, and nutrition. Kitchens and dining rooms frozen in time show the intimate, domestic side of Pompeian life, balancing work, commerce, and leisure through the lens of sustenance. Graffiti on walls across Pompeii provides vivid snapshots of daily life and humor. Messages range from political slogans to flirtations, insults, and personal reflections. They demonstrate literacy, expression, and social engagement. Scholars find evidence of debates, commercial notices, and casual humor, all preserved for centuries. These writings give voice to ordinary Pompeians, revealing a society where the public and private, the humorous and the serious, coexist on the same walls, immortalized by volcanic ash. Excavations reveal private gardens preserved under ash, often adorned with frescoes of flora, fauna, and mythological scenes. The imagery reflects Romans' desire to bring nature into domestic spaces, even in densely built cities. Potted plants, irrigation channels, and traces of ornamental fountains are preserved. Graffiti on the garden walls sometimes indicates playful commentary from family members or guests. These spaces reveal both aesthetic tastes and practical approaches to cultivating greenery, showing how Pompeians balanced urban life with appreciation for natural beauty. Archaeologists uncover inscriptions, wax tablets, and writing exercises in small homes and public spaces. These artifacts reveal literacy rates and methods of Roman education. Children practiced letters and numbers, while older students studied rhetoric and poetry. Classrooms were modest, often shared with multiple pupils, with simple desks or benches. These findings demonstrate a society that valued education, preparing boys, and occasionally girls, for civic, commercial, and social responsibilities. Learning was intertwined with daily life, shaping future citizens. A bakery frozen in time shows loaves still in the oven, millstones for grinding flour, and storage vessels for grains. Graffiti identifies the baker as Modestus. Archaeologists find evidence of daily commerce: coins, balances, and jars for water and ingredients. Carbonized bread confirms recipes and portion sizes. The bakery illustrates the essential role of food preparation in urban life, connecting commerce, domestic routines, and public nutrition. It also preserves the rhythms of early morning work and the bustling flow of customers in a typical neighborhood. The Falonica, a laundry workshop, is remarkably well preserved. Large vats, wooden presses, and traces of cleaning agents reveal industrial-scale textile care. Graffiti by workers indicates pride in craftsmanship, listing prices and client names. Workers, often freedmen, are represented in skeletons and plaster casts, providing insight into labor conditions and social mobility. This site demonstrates how ordinary trade and labor formed the backbone of urban life, preserving a less glamorous but essential aspect of Pompeii's economy. The Villa of the Mysteries, with its vibrant frescoes depicting initiation rituals of a Dionysian cult, offers insight into religious life beyond public temples. Each room tells a story of secret ceremonies, myth, and communal participation. Archaeologists reconstruct the rituals and speculate on social hierarchies within cult membership. The villa exemplifies private religious expression and the integration of art, ceremony, and daily living, preserved in extraordinary detail by the ash that fell millennia ago. Excavation of the central market reveals stalls, counters, amphorae, and weighing instruments. Graffiti indicates prices, transactions, and even humorous insults exchanged between vendors. Carbonized foodstuffs provide insight into trade goods and diet, while small votive offerings hint at prayers for business prosperity. The marketplace exemplifies the vibrant, commercial energy of Pompeii, showing how citizens navigated the interplay of commerce, social interaction, and religion in daily urban life. The Villa of P. Fannius Sinister displays exquisite perspective frescoes, blending architectural illusion and decorative artistry. Excavators find furniture impressions in the ash, revealing room arrangements and the use of space. Frescoes depict landscapes, theatrical scenes, and mythological narratives. The villa's preservation provides insight into elite aesthetics, the influence of Greek culture on Roman design, and the ways in which visual art shaped domestic experience and status. Graffiti along Pompeii's streets captures public humor, political commentary, and social rivalry. Scholars find playful insults, election slogans, and advertisements etched into plaster. These informal communications reveal how citizens interacted with their environment and one another, providing a rare unfiltered voice of ordinary Pompeians. The graffiti demonstrates literacy, social awareness, and the blending of private opinion with public space, frozen forever in the volcanic ash. Another bakery, that of Proculus, is excavated, revealing loaves carbonized in ovens, grinding stones, and amphorae for storage. Analysis of the remains provides insight into baking methods, ingredients, and portioning for families and neighbors. Graffiti indicates both the baker's identity and community interactions, including playful notes from children. This site illustrates how local trade and food preparation formed the core of daily life, preserved exactly at the moment disaster struck. The Stabian baths are uncovered with hot and cold rooms, pools, and elaborate frescoes. Graffiti on benches, combined with tool marks, coins, and oil lamps, reveals patterns of use, social hierarchies, and daily routines. The baths illustrate leisure, hygiene, and civic culture, showing how Romans integrated public amenities into their lives. Even small details, like worn footpaths and water channels, reveal movement, behavior, and social customs, perfectly preserved by the eruption's frozen embrace. The Forum, the beating heart of Pompeii's civic life, lies buried under several meters of ash. Excavations reveal colonnaded walkways, temples, statues, and markets frozen mid-activity. Graffiti etched on walls shows political campaigning, voter slogans, and everyday commentary. Archaeologists uncover coins and tokens, remnants of commerce, and notes of public gatherings. The Forum illustrates the intersection of religion, commerce, and social life, capturing the energy of civic interaction and how citizens engaged with public spaces in daily routines. The House of the Faun, one of Pompeii's grandest residences, contains intricate mosaics, including the famous Alexander mosaic, which depicts a historical battle in precise detail. Excavators find impressions of furniture and personal belongings. The household staff, likely slaves, are implied through tools, cooking utensils, and traces of labor areas. The villa exemplifies wealth, cultural sophistication, and the display of status through art and architecture, providing a window into elite Roman life frozen at the moment of catastrophe. Another thermopolium, smaller and more modest, reveals the everyday life of a neighborhood baker. Carbonized bread loaves still sit in the oven, while counters hold vessels for ingredients. Graffiti and inscriptions suggest a strong connection to the local community, with loyal customers and familiar routines. Archaeologists note fingerprints and impressions in the clay counters, adding personal traces to the narrative. This modest bakery emphasizes how ordinary Romans, far from the elite, maintained their daily lives, work, and social bonds even as disaster approached. The amphitheater, a hub of entertainment and social gathering, preserves evidence of gladiatorial contests, audience seating, and inscriptions honoring performers. Carbonized remnants of food and pottery suggest spectators brought meals, while graffiti records cheers, rivalries, and admiration for famous gladiators like Celadus. Excavation reveals staircases, entryways, and even discarded personal items, capturing the everyday movements and behaviors of citizens attending public spectacles. The amphitheater offers a vivid glimpse into leisure, hierarchy, and communal culture. Pompeii's Lupanar, the city's brothel, is preserved with frescoes depicting erotic scenes and small rooms arranged around courtyards. Graffiti records clients' names, preferences, and humor, providing a candid, unfiltered view of social and sexual life. Archaeologists also find traces of coins and objects linked to commercial exchange. The site highlights the diversity of urban occupations and underscores the complex interplay of work, pleasure, and social hierarchy, showing how personal lives continued alongside public disaster. Excavations reveal streets with preserved stepping stones, designed to allow pedestrians to cross without stepping in waste. Wheel ruts indicate the paths of carts and wagons, showing how infrastructure supported commerce and daily life. Graffiti on walls along the streets records messages, advertisements, and casual commentary. Even mundane traces, footprints in ash, impressions of sandals, offer intimate glimpses into the lives of citizens, from merchants to children, as they navigated the urban landscape before the eruption's deadly interruption. Analysis of multiple ovens across the city reveals carbonized loaves, dough, and storage jars. By examining ingredients, archaeologists reconstruct recipes and baking techniques. Tools for grinding, kneading, and shaping dough survive, while nearby counters preserve impressions of hands and implements. The ovens illustrate the essential rhythms of daily work, sustenance, and social cohesion. Citizens' lives revolved around food preparation, trade, and consumption, and these preserved ovens offer a literal taste of Roman urban life frozen in time. The Temple of Apollo, a religious center, is preserved with statues, altars, and votive offerings. Inscriptions and graffiti record prayers, dedications, and local events. Archaeologists uncover artifacts suggesting rituals, festivals, and ceremonies, providing insight into civic and religious priorities. The temple reflects both public worship and individual devotion, revealing how spiritual life permeated daily routines and underscoring the centrality of religion in guiding moral, social, and political behavior among Pompeii's residents. Beyond the public areas, the Stabian baths reveal private bathing rooms, each with decorated walls, benches, and small water basins. Archaeologists find traces of personal grooming oil lamps and inscriptions recording visitors' names. These intimate spaces provide insight into privacy, social norms, and personal care. Even small details, like the layout of the benches or the position of drains, illustrate the daily practices, habits, and comforts sought by citizens. The baths serve as both communal and private centers of social life. Across homes and shops, archaeologists find carbonized remains of fruits, vegetables, and herbs. The diversity of preserved produce, from figs and grapes to pulses and leafy greens, provides insight into diet, agricultural trade, and seasonal availability. Storage jars reveal methods of preservation and culinary preparation. Even small traces of seasoning hint at Roman culinary sophistication. These everyday items, frozen in time, remind modern viewers of the intimate, domestic lives of Pompeii's citizens, abruptly halted yet astonishingly preserved by the eruption. The early morning sun casts a pale light over the crumbling walls of a recently excavated villa. Dr. Elena Rossi crouches by a hairline fracture in the stucco, tracing its path with gloved fingers, her colleagues hovering nearby. Sensors placed months ago signal stress, tiny movements invisible to the naked eye but potentially catastrophic over time. Rainwater pooling in depressions accelerates decay, and each tourist footstep sends microvibrations through fragile floors. The team debates solutions. Should they reinforce the masonry immediately, risking disturbance, or wait for a new preservation compound being tested in laboratories? Every decision carries weight. Each intervention is a balance between saving the structure and preserving its authenticity. A conservator photographs the cracks while noting subtle color changes in the plaster, documenting the slow erosion of centuries. Nearby, a scaffold holds a partially collapsed fresco that once adorned a dining room, its pigments fading under sunlight. Rossi reflects on how time and nature are relentless partners in the story of Pompeii, threatening to undo the careful work of generations. Modern tools, laser scanning, high-resolution imaging, and environmental monitoring offer hope, but they also reveal the fragile dance between human intervention and natural forces. Even with international funding and advanced technology, Pompeii is a city still at risk, a reminder that preservation is as much an ongoing process as excavation itself. It was a stormy night in 2010 when the rain poured relentlessly, soaking Pompeii's ancient stones. By morning, the Scala Armaturarum, House of the Gladiators, had partially collapsed. Archaeologists arrived to find mosaics shattered, fresco fragments scattered, and structural timbers lying askew. Emergency teams documented every detail before debris was cleared. Photographs captured the damage for future reconstruction, while engineers assessed the risks of further collapse. International media converged on the site, bringing global attention and sparking new conversations about conservation. The collapse was a stark reminder: despite careful excavation, the city remains vulnerable. The incident prompted a surge of funding for preservation efforts and new safety protocols for both workers and visitors. Researchers debated the ethics of excavation versus leaving structures buried for protection. The collapse underscored a harsh truth: Pompeii, preserved under ash for centuries, cannot escape the forces of nature indefinitely. While some saw devastation, others saw opportunity. Archaeologists now had a real-world lesson in structural fragility and the urgency of meticulous preservation, pushing innovations in digital modeling, scaffolding design, and climate monitoring. The event remains a symbol of the city's precarious balance between exposure and endurance, teaching that even treasures frozen in time are not immune to the passage of centuries. Dr. Elena Rossi brushes the dust from a mosaic floor, each tesserae glinting faintly in the sunlight. Unlike early excavators who recorded only notes of beauty, Rossi's team documents every detail. A camera captures the floor from multiple angles while a 3D scanner rotates slowly, recording every nuance. Nearby, a tablet displays a live reconstruction of the mosaic, allowing the team to identify patterns, pigment variations, and subtle repairs made by ancient artisans. Rossi pauses to marvel at the intricacy of the central emblem, where tiny tesserae create an almost photographic level of detail. Her colleague adjusts the scanner, comparing the floor with other mosaics from neighboring regions, noting influences and trade connections. Outside, visitors peer through protective barriers, curious yet unaware of the meticulous science happening behind the scenes. For the archaeologists, every scan, photograph, and note contributes to a digital archive that may outlast the stones themselves, preserving knowledge even if the physical material degrades. Rossi reflects on how technology transforms archaeology. Instead of rushing to uncover treasures, the team can now document, study, and share them without jeopardizing their preservation. In this quiet labor, centuries-old craftsmanship and modern science converge, breathing new life into ancient artistry. In a small garden adjacent to the villa, a paleobotanist kneels on a protective mat, carefully collecting soil samples. Carbonized seeds, pollen, and root impressions are collected in labeled vials, destined for laboratory analysis. Each tiny fragment may reveal which plants were cultivated, providing insights into diet, medicinal practices, and trade. "This looks like a Mediterranean herb," she murmurs, noting the delicate patterns preserved under volcanic ash. Another colleague identifies traces of exotic spices, suggesting connections to distant markets. Together, they reconstruct the flora that once surrounded the villa: fruit trees, flowering plants, and vegetables cultivated for both sustenance and beauty. The work is painstaking, yet it illuminates the lives of Pompeii's inhabitants in ways bricks and stones cannot. While mosaics show wealth and artistry, these botanical clues reveal daily habits, agricultural knowledge, and interactions with the wider Roman world. Visitors pass by on elevated walkways, oblivious to the microscopic history beneath their feet. For the archaeologists, every seed tells a story of trade, cultivation, and consumption, offering an intimate glimpse of life 2,000 years ago. Dr. Rossi kneels before a mosaic emblem, examining the gradual decrease in tesserae size toward the center. "See how the detail becomes finer here?" she notes, pointing to the intricate patterns. Her colleague nods, acknowledging the mark of a master artisan, someone whose skill allowed shades, contours, and subtle transitions to come alive in stone. The team analyzes pigments: ultramarine blue sourced from Afghanistan, ochres from local quarries, reds imported from across the empire. Each color choice reflects wealth, taste, and access to distant markets. Rossi considers the homeowner a wealthy patron investing in artistry to convey status, sophistication, and cosmopolitanism. Trade routes, economic power, and personal taste converge in a single emblem. The mosaic is more than decoration. It is a narrative of influence and identity, a silent testament to lives lived, connections made, and aesthetic ideals cherished. In the quiet villa, the team records every detail, aware that future archaeologists will rely on these meticulous observations to understand not just Pompeii's art, but the society that produced it. Tourists walk along elevated pathways, cameras clicking, voices a mix of awe and curiosity. Emma, a college student from Chicago, pauses at a mosaic floor, her fingers tracing patterns in the air rather than on the stones themselves. Guides explain Roman daily life, the significance of household gods, and the roles of artisans. Yet Emma's attention lingers on details the guides cannot narrate: the tiny scratches left by centuries of footsteps, the chipped edges of frescoes hinting at decades of domestic life, the uneven wear on doorways revealing paths frequently trodden. Each visitor sees the city differently, yet all share a moment of connection across time. The archaeologists work quietly nearby, protective barriers separating the public from fragile surfaces. Every step the tourists take is a negotiation between access and preservation. The city, once bustling with commerce and conversation, is now alive with silent observation and the murmur of modern curiosity. Here, the past and present intersect, as ordinary people, Romans and moderns alike, share space, even if centuries apart. Emma walks along the stone-paved streets, pausing to examine ruts carved into the surface by Roman carts. Graffiti, election slogans, and personal inscriptions adorn walls, offering candid glimpses of everyday life. At a thermopolium, counters worn smooth by centuries of leaning elbows suggest the rhythm of commerce and human interaction. Here, she imagines weary citizens grabbing a quick meal, discussing politics, sharing gossip, moments familiar across millennia. In the quiet corners, shadows reveal the subtle contours of walls and doorways that once framed family interactions. These tangible traces transform abstract history into a lived experience. Emma feels a connection to the inhabitants not through grand monuments or statues, but through these intimate, ordinary imprints. The city, frozen in time by disaster, now serves as a bridge, allowing her to walk in the footsteps of people whose joys, fears, and routines mirror her own. In each stone, she senses both the vibrancy of life and the fragility that the eruption ultimately exposed. Emma approaches the glass-covered garden of the fugitives, where plaster casts reveal 13 individuals frozen in their final moments. A child clings to a parent. A man raises his hands as if to shield himself. She notes the subtle tension in their limbs, the curve of a hand, the arch of a back, small gestures that convey profound emotion. The casts are stark reminders that these were not just archaeological specimens but human beings with fears, loves, and last thoughts. A quiet hush falls over visitors as they stand before the figures, absorbing the gravity of the scene. Archaeologists emphasize the painstaking process that produced these casts, highlighting how volcanic ash preserved not only forms but human stories. Emma feels an unexpected intimacy with these strangers. The centuries between them collapse, and she glimpses the universality of human vulnerability. The scene bridges millennia, underscoring that the experiences of fear, care, and mortality are constants of the human condition. Here, Pompeii transcends archaeology. It becomes a space for empathy, reflection, and connection. Across the site, modern teams continue excavation and preservation, blending high-tech tools with careful manual labor. Ground-penetrating radar maps structures still buried beneath ash, while drones provide aerial imaging of unexcavated regions. In laboratories, specialists analyze carbonized food, pigments, and bones, extracting information invisible to early excavators. Each discovery adds nuance to the understanding of Roman life, diet, social stratification, trade connections, and migration patterns. Bioarchaeologists study isotopes in teeth to trace origins, revealing the cosmopolitan nature of Pompeii's inhabitants. Even with such sophisticated techniques, restraint guides action. Structures remain buried if exposure would risk decay. Excavation is no longer a race against time but a deliberate effort to balance knowledge with preservation. Modern archaeologists reflect on their ethical responsibility to uncover, yes, but also to respect and protect, understanding that Pompeii is both a historical treasure and a fragile legacy. Dr. Sofia Martinez adjusts her augmented reality headset in the house of the tragic poet, overlaying digital reconstructions onto the ruins. Walls brighten with restored frescoes, furniture appears in empty rooms, and digital figures enact daily routines based on archaeological evidence. Light streaming through atriums at various times of day changes perceptions of space, demonstrating how Romans lived, worked, and moved. Her assistant records observations while Martinez experiments with overlays that reconstruct entire households. The headset allows the team to test hypotheses about room usage, social dynamics, and architectural design without disturbing the site. For visitors, this technology enriches understanding, blending past and present in a visually compelling experience. Through AR, Pompeii becomes dynamic, alive, a city where everyday life, meals, family interactions, domestic chores, can be imagined, analyzed, and shared in unprecedented ways. Technology transforms ruins into living laboratories, giving depth and context to a city frozen in time but constantly reinterpreted through research. Visitors gather near the house of the tragic poet, guided by augmented reality displays. Tablets and AR headsets overlay reconstructions atop the ruins. Frescoes glow in vivid hues, furniture appears in its original positions, and animated figures enact daily Roman life. Children watch digital servants carry water from atrium fountains, while tourists follow merchants selling goods in reconstructed markets. Emma observes a digital family preparing for a meal, the aroma of imaginary bread and olives imagined in her mind. Archaeologists explain how the technology allows them to simulate sunlight at different hours, showing how shadows would have shaped the use of rooms. For visitors, the experience bridges centuries, transforming static ruins into interactive lessons. Through AR, Pompeii is no longer merely observed, it is experienced. History becomes immersive, connecting modern audiences to the rhythms, routines, and human stories of the past. Every digital overlay reflects meticulous research, ensuring that imagination is anchored in evidence. In the unexcavated sections of Region 9, archaeologists study ground-penetrating radar images projected on large screens. Patterns reveal walls, courtyards, and possible public buildings buried beneath centuries of volcanic ash. Dr. Paolo Russo points to a rectangular formation, suggesting a bath complex. The team debates excavation priorities, ultimately deciding to preserve the site digitally before disturbing it. Each layer of ash, each hidden structure, holds clues to social hierarchy, urban planning, and daily life. Archaeologists emphasize restraint. Leaving portions buried protects them from decay while future technologies might reveal even more. By creating detailed 3D models, they can virtually excavate and share discoveries worldwide, allowing scholars and students to explore without risking physical deterioration. This represents a philosophical shift. Early excavators prioritized uncovering everything immediately, while modern teams prioritize preservation, careful documentation, and sustainable study, acknowledging that Pompeii is both a resource for knowledge and a fragile cultural treasure. In the Pompeii Research Center, specialists examine artifacts with advanced equipment. Carbonized food fragments, pottery shards, and pigments undergo spectroscopic analysis. Bioarchaeologists study teeth and bones, revealing age, diet, and geographic origins. Isotope analysis uncovers migration patterns, showing how cosmopolitan the city was. Paleobotanists identify plant remains from kitchens and gardens, tracing agricultural practices and trade networks. Every artifact tells a story. A duck bone reveals culinary preferences, a fragment of imported pigment hints at trade routes reaching Afghanistan. The laboratory is a bridge between centuries, where the physical remains of humans, plants, and materials are transformed into knowledge. Through meticulous analysis, researchers reconstruct lives, habits, and connections, giving voice to people who perished nearly 2 millennia ago. Researchers carefully use imaging technology to read carbonized scrolls from the villa of the papyri in neighboring Herculaneum. Fragile and charred, the scrolls are too delicate to open physically. Advanced scanning techniques reveal previously unknown works of Epicurean philosophy, philosophical treatises never seen by human eyes. Each letter illuminates intellectual life in Roman society. For scholars, these texts are treasures, reshaping understanding of Roman thought, education, and cultural exchange. The process underscores a central theme. Pompeii and Herculaneum are not just monuments, but dynamic sources of knowledge. Technology enables interactions with the past that were impossible even a decade ago, providing insight into ideas, beliefs, and daily practices that survive only because disaster preserved them. Dr. Martinez steps back from her AR headset, observing the ruins in their current state. Technology can reconstruct the past, she notes, but the ruins themselves hold meaning. Pompeii is not merely a city to be digitally restored. It is a landscape shaped by human endeavor, natural catastrophe, and centuries of preservation. Ruins carry integrity. The marks of time, ash, and weather tell their own story. Archaeologists are learning to respect these traces, balancing digital reconstructions with the physical authenticity of the site. Visitors, too, experience a dual perspective. The city as it was, imagined through technology, and the city as it is now, weathered yet enduring. The philosophical lesson is profound. Engaging with Pompeii is not only about discovery but also about respect for the delicate interplay of history, nature, and human effort. Emma wanders the Forum, the civic heart of Pompeii, where temples, markets, and legal centers once thrived. Her audio guide highlights architectural features, yet she focuses on intimate details: graffiti etched into walls, smooth wear on stones, the faint traces of ancient foot traffic. Names of candidates for local office, personal inscriptions, and casual complaints connect her directly to the daily lives of Pompeians. These small marks create a profound sense of continuity. She feels the people were not so different from herself. The Forum, a space of commerce, politics, and social interaction, becomes more than ruins. It becomes a living narrative of ordinary citizens. Emma senses a rhythm to the city, understanding how spaces were used, how life unfolded in streets, homes, and public buildings, centuries before her presence. Emma steps into a well-preserved thermopolium, ancient counters still intact. She imagines weary shoppers stopping for quick meals, workers grabbing food during busy days, friends exchanging gossip and wine. The tangible traces, the smooth surfaces of counters, the faint stains of past use, bring Roman routines to life. Archaeologists explain how such establishments functioned as social hubs, accessible to all classes. Emma envisions conversations, laughter, and the mundane bustle that characterized city life. The combination of preserved architecture and historical interpretation allows her to see both structure and human behavior, bridging the centuries between past and present. The ordinary moment of grabbing a meal becomes extraordinary, a window into the shared human experience. Emma enters the Garden of Fugitives, a glass-covered enclosure preserving 13 plaster casts of victims. Men, women, and children lie as they fell, caught in final moments of fear and desperation. One child clings to an adult. A man raises his arms in a futile defense. Emma observes the intricate detail captured by volcanic ash, sensing the individuality of each person. She realizes these were not mere archaeological objects but real people with hopes, fears, and emotions. The emotional weight is palpable. Centuries collapse into a single human moment. She reflects on mortality, vulnerability, and the universality of human experience. Pompeii here transcends history, becoming a space for empathy, reflection, and emotional connection. The plaster casts provoke reflection not just on death, but on life. Emma contemplates the ordinary routines abruptly ended, the relationships preserved in gestures frozen in ash. Archaeologists emphasize the care taken to preserve these moments, understanding their impact on modern observers. Visitors are reminded that history is not abstract. It is lived, felt, and experienced. Pompeii's tragedy becomes a mirror, reflecting universal human fears and desires. In this space, Emma experiences a kinship with the past, realizing that despite technological and cultural differences, the fundamental aspects of life, love, fear, daily labor, remain consistent across millennia. The city, preserved by catastrophe, offers both a lesson in fragility and a testament to enduring humanity. Emma stands quietly in the shadows of Pompeii, contemplating the continuity of human experience. The ruins speak across centuries. The graffiti, wheel ruts, mosaics, and plaster casts convey both ordinary life and extraordinary tragedy. She considers the resilience of civilization, the preservation of memory, and the lessons of natural disaster. The city reminds visitors that while life is fragile, human connections, creativity, and legacy endure. The past becomes a lens for understanding the present, urging mindfulness, empathy, and respect for both history and each other. As she departs, she carries with her a sense of kinship with those who lived and died here, recognizing that Pompeii is not merely an archaeological site but a profound reflection on shared humanity. Emma enters a small room in a Pompeian home, noticing a painted shrine, a lararium, where a family once offered daily prayers to household gods. The faded figures of deities are still visible, guarding the home nearly 2 millennia later. Archaeologists explain that these rituals connected Romans to their ancestors and divine protectors, shaping daily behavior and family cohesion. Emma imagines the family preparing small offerings, lighting incense, or pouring libations before meals. Even in tragedy, the sacred space endures, a testament to personal devotion and cultural continuity. She marvels at how such private acts of faith have survived, allowing modern visitors to glimpse intimate spiritual practices and recognize shared human concerns, protection, gratitude, and the desire for guidance. Archaeologists lead Emma to the edge of the city, discussing Pompeii's location near Mount Vesuvius. They explain how the eruption was sudden yet preceded by warning signs, tremors, ash clouds, and smells of sulfur that many ignored. This mirrors modern society's approach to natural hazards. Cities built on fault lines, floodplains, or hurricane zones often underestimate risks. Emma reflects on human psychology, the tendency to delay action until disaster strikes, and the resilience required to recover when it does. Pompeii, preserved by catastrophe, becomes a lesson in vigilance, preparedness, and humility before nature, showing that the forces shaping human life are both ancient and enduring. As the sun sets, golden light washes over Pompeii's streets and homes. Shadows stretch along cobblestones worn by centuries of use. Emma pauses to absorb the stillness, imagining the city before, during, and after the eruption. Archaeologists note the unexcavated regions, where more secrets lie buried beneath ash. Each layer holds untold stories, waiting for future discoveries. The sunset serves as a metaphor for the passage of time. While the city's inhabitants were lost, their lives continue to resonate. Emma senses the continuity of human experience. The same sunlight that once lit Roman streets now touches her face, connecting past and present. As darkness falls, Pompeii takes on a new character. The ruins rest under a blanket of night, echoing the centuries spent beneath volcanic ash. Emma walks quietly, hearing only the wind and distant waves. The absence of tourists and human noise transforms the city into a contemplative space. Archaeologists reflect on the juxtaposition of human fragility and endurance, ordinary lives interrupted by disaster, yet preserved through time. Emma imagines the Roman citizens, merchants, children, families, walking these streets, unaware that their city would one day teach profound lessons about mortality, resilience, and memory. In the evening calm, Emma ponders what Pompeii teaches modern society. The city demonstrates the fragility of human achievements and the unpredictability of nature. Engineering marvels, artistic accomplishments, and social structures vanished overnight, yet traces of ordinary life remain. Archaeologists emphasize the importance of careful stewardship, documenting knowledge, and learning from history. Emma reflects on her own life, the need to cherish daily moments, protect what is valuable, and recognize that human legacy is shaped not just by grandeur but by small, meaningful acts. Pompeii's preservation offers both a warning and inspiration. Emma moves through quiet streets, noticing mosaics, frescoes, and inscriptions. Archaeologists remind her that Pompeii's endurance reflects both human endeavor and accident. Ordinary lives, graffiti, meals, household rituals have outlasted empires. Emma contemplates mortality and the traces humans leave behind: physical objects, cultural practices, and intangible influences. She realizes that even brief lives can resonate across centuries, that ordinary acts can achieve extraordinary permanence. Pompeii, frozen in ash yet alive in memory, offers a profound meditation on the nature of legacy. Standing near the plaster casts of victims, Emma considers the inevitability of death and the universality of human experience. Faces frozen in terror, hands clasped in comfort, and children clinging to parents reveal emotions timeless and recognizable. Archaeologists explain that these casts are more than objects. They are vivid reminders that human life, though fragile, carries meaning. Emma feels a connection that transcends time, understanding that shared experiences of love, fear, and hope define humanity across generations. Pompeii becomes a mirror, reflecting the vulnerabilities and values of both past and present. Visitors leave as night settles over Pompeii. Emma walks slowly, savoring the quiet streets. She reflects on what she has learned: the intricate craftsmanship of mosaics, the complexity of urban life, and the human stories preserved in ash. Archaeologists continue their work, ensuring future generations can also connect to this extraordinary city. Emma's departure feels both a conclusion and a beginning. She carries Pompeii with her, its lessons informing her awareness of life, time, and responsibility. The city rests, yet its stories continue to resonate. Mount Vesuvius looms in the distance, a constant reminder of natural forces that shape human existence. Emma gazes at its silhouette, contemplating both its destructive power and its role in preserving Pompeii. Archaeologists explain that fertile volcanic soils, recurring eruptions, and geological activity created both peril and prosperity. Emma recognizes the duality of nature, capable of erasing civilizations, yet ensuring that knowledge and memory endure in unexpected ways. The volcano becomes symbolic of life itself: creation, destruction, and renewal intertwined. As the first stars appear, Emma reflects on the rhythm of human life and the continuity of civilization. Pompeii's story spans centuries, yet feels immediate. She considers the ancient Romans' joys, fears, and routines, recognizing how little human nature has changed. Archaeologists stress that Pompeii is not a static relic but a dynamic site, continually revealing new insights. Emma realizes that understanding the past enriches the present, deepening empathy, perspective, and appreciation for ordinary life. As she leaves, she carries with her a sense of connection across time, a reminder that human experience is enduring and shared. The morning sun rises over Pompeii, casting long shadows across streets and homes. Archaeologists arrive, equipped with advanced tools that would seem magical to the Romans. Ground-penetrating radar, 3D scanners, and drones allow them to map buried structures without disturbing them. Dr. Sofia Martinez dons her augmented reality headset, overlaying digital reconstructions on the ruins. As sunlight filters through the atrium, she observes how rooms were used and how light entered spaces at different times of day. Each detail, from furniture placement to wall colors, helps reconstruct daily life. Modern science transforms the ancient city into a living laboratory, allowing researchers to test theories previously unimaginable. Dr. Martinez walks through the house of the tragic poet, famous for its intricate mosaics. Using augmented reality, the frescoes regain their original vibrancy, and animated figures demonstrate typical household activity. Emma, visiting with the team, is struck by the realism. She sees children playing, servants preparing meals, and the poet himself moving through the atrium. The technology bridges centuries, making the city alive once again. By combining archaeological evidence with digital tools, researchers can explore interactions, spatial use, and social hierarchies, providing insights impossible to glean from ruins alone. Nearby, Dr. Paolo Russo examines radar imagery of an unexcavated section in Region 9. A large building appears beneath volcanic layers, possibly a bath complex. Instead of immediate excavation, the team creates a digital model to preserve it for future study. This cautious approach contrasts sharply with early excavations, where uncovering as much as possible quickly often caused irreversible damage. Modern archaeology prioritizes preservation, careful documentation, and long-term planning, reflecting a philosophical shift in how humanity interacts with ancient sites. In the Pompeii Research Lab, specialists analyze artifacts and human remains. A bioarchaeologist examines teeth using isotope analysis, revealing that a young woman grew up in North Africa, not Pompeii. This evidence highlights the city's cosmopolitan nature, a hub in the Roman Empire. Nearby, a paleobotanist studies carbonized food, uncovering what was eaten and cultivated. Every analysis adds layers to understanding social status, trade networks, and daily life. The lab transforms forgotten remnants into stories, connecting researchers to the lives of individuals who lived nearly 2 millennia ago. Another team works on the villa of the papyri in nearby Herculaneum. Carbonized scrolls, too fragile to unroll physically, are scanned with advanced imaging techniques. Hidden texts, including unknown Epicurean philosophy, slowly appear on screens. Researchers whisper in awe, nearly 2,000 years without human eyes on these words. Each revelation deepens understanding of Roman intellectual life, philosophy, and culture. Technology becomes a time machine, allowing voices long silent to speak across centuries. Emma watches, fascinated, as knowledge once lost is resurrected, revealing a vibrant, thoughtful society. Dr. Martinez removes her AR headset, gazing at the ruins around her. Technology reveals what Pompeii was, but the present ruins convey what it has become, a city shaped by catastrophe, time, and human intervention. She reflects on the philosophical shift in archaeology, the recognition that ruins have intrinsic value beyond reconstruction. The site's current form is meaningful, a cultural landscape shaped by the interplay of human achievement and natural forces. Emma feels that this understanding deepens her connection to the past, emphasizing that preservation itself is a dialogue between generations. Millions of tourists visit Pompeii each year, and for many, the experience is emotional and intimate. Emma, standing in the forum, notices graffiti etched into walls, political slogans, personal messages, and everyday complaints. She smiles at the similarities to modern society. In the Thermopylaeum, she imagines ancient Romans grabbing meals, chatting, or conducting business. The city's details, graffiti, food stalls, household shrines, reveal ordinary life and humanize its residents. Visitors do not merely see history, they connect with individuals, recognizing shared behaviors, desires, and vulnerabilities across millennia. Emma pauses in the glass-covered garden, where plaster casts of 13 people lie frozen in their final moments. She observes a child close to a parent, a man shielding his face, couples embracing. Archaeologists explain how these molds capture body language and emotion, offering rare insight into human responses to disaster. Emma is moved, realizing these were real people with fears, hopes, and attachments. The emotional resonance is immediate. Centuries vanish as she empathizes with lives cut short. The plaster casts create an intimate connection, emphasizing shared humanity and the universality of grief, love, and fear. Emma notices a small shrine, a lararium, where daily offerings were made. The painted figures remain, preserving rituals and beliefs. Archaeologists explain Roman views of time, divine intervention, and cycles of life. Emma reflects on similarities with modern spiritual practices, the desire for protection, guidance, and connection. Even in disaster, human responses are recognizable. Pompeii teaches that despite cultural differences, fundamental human behaviors, love, devotion, resilience, transcend centuries. Emma feels the continuity of human experience, understanding how ordinary actions leave enduring legacies. As night settles, Emma leaves Pompeii, its streets quiet and empty. Mount Vesuvius looms in the distance, a reminder of nature's power and the city's fragile endurance. She reflects on lessons learned, the delicacy of human life, the inevitability of change, and the importance of preserving knowledge. Archaeologists continue their work, uncovering new discoveries, documenting lives, and connecting past and present. Pompeii's story endures, offering reflection, inspiration, and a mirror of humanity. The city's quiet night embodies both tragedy and hope, a testament to resilience and memory across the ages. The morning sun spills over Pompeii's forum, illuminating the worn stones and weathered columns. Tourists trickle in, and researchers return with notebooks, tablets, and scanners. Dr. Rossi pauses to watch how sunlight moves across the basilica's steps, noting shadows and angles that reveal how Romans experienced the space. Every detail, from erosion patterns to stone placement, offers insights into construction techniques and daily activities. Visitors observe, intrigued by the layering of time visible in the streets. The forum becomes a classroom, a place where history, technology, and human curiosity intersect. In a nearby home, archaeologists focus on domestic objects, cooking pots, furniture, and storage containers. Digital tools reconstruct the layout of kitchens, bedrooms, and courtyards. Dr. Martinez explains how even small traces, like soot on walls or wear on doorsteps, reveal habits and routines. The team notes evidence of trade, diet, and family dynamics. Visitors peer over barriers, fascinated by mundane details made extraordinary. By combining meticulous observation with technology, researchers bring the lives of Pompeians into vivid clarity, revealing patterns that speak to universal human behavior. In the House of the Faun, mosaics capture attention. Specialists analyze tesserae sizes, patterns, and pigments, some sourced from distant regions. A mosaic depicting the Nile River hints at cultural connections and trade networks. Dr. Russo explains how craftsmanship indicates wealth and status, while pigments reveal economic and geographic reach. Tourists marvel, photographing every detail, while archaeologists study wear patterns, restoration efforts, and structural integrity. The artistry underscores a sophisticated society, demonstrating how aesthetics, commerce, and status intertwined in everyday life. In Region 9, radar scans reveal hidden spaces beneath the ash. A previously unknown building emerges in the digital model, its layout suggesting a small bathhouse. Dr. Rossi advises restraint, emphasizing preservation over excavation. The team creates a full 3D reconstruction for future study. This measured approach contrasts with earlier centuries' rush to unearth ruins. The city below the surface remains intact, a time capsule for future archaeologists. Visitors in the distance watch drones hover overhead, marveling at technology that uncovers the past without touching a single stone. Back in the lab, a bioarchaeologist examines teeth and bones, applying isotope and DNA analysis. Patterns reveal migration, diet, and ancestry. A young man once thought local grew up hundreds of miles away. Another specimen shows evidence of disease or malnutrition, offering insights into living conditions and social inequities. Each fragment reconstructs stories of individual lives, humanizing the archaeological record. Researchers speak softly, aware they are in dialogue with people who lived, suffered, and loved centuries ago, their traces now preserved for posterity. Researchers work on fragile scrolls from Herculaneum, revealing philosophical texts long thought lost. The carbonized papyri yield Epicurean writings and private reflections. Dr. Rossi remarks on the intimacy of the texts. These were people thinking, questioning, and recording ideas in real time. Emma observes the screens, imagining readers from centuries past engaging with these ideas. Technology bridges millennia, allowing modern humans to witness thought processes and intellectual life preserved in ash. The past feels immediate, alive, and profoundly human. Dr. Martinez walks the ruins, contemplating their meaning. Ruins are not merely remnants, they carry significance in their present form. She explains to the team that Pompeii as it exists today, damaged, weathered, yet standing, is itself an artifact. The interplay of construction, catastrophe, and conservation creates a cultural landscape. Visitors experience the duality, what was and what remains. Emma feels this tension, realizing that preservation itself is a form of storytelling, conveying messages across centuries about resilience, creativity, and human mortality. In the Garden of the Fugitives, Emma pauses again, moved by the plaster casts. She observes gestures of fear, care, and despair. Archaeologists provide context, explaining how the volcanic eruption trapped these individuals. The detail of their positions conveys intimate narratives of courage, protection, and love. Emma experiences a profound connection across time, understanding that these lives, though abruptly ended, continue to communicate. The human element of archaeology, empathy and recognition, emerges as strongly as technical reconstruction, reminding visitors that the past was lived by real people. Emma reflects on Pompeii's lessons about life and vulnerability. The city, built in the shadow of Vesuvius, reminds her of humanity's enduring tendency to live despite risk. Modern parallels abound: cities on fault lines, communities in hurricane zones. Pompeii's story emphasizes that natural forces are immutable and human foresight is limited. Yet, preservation and archaeology offer hope. Knowledge, memory, and culture can endure. Emma leaves with a sense of humility and connection, recognizing both fragility and resilience in human life and the enduring relevance of the past to the present. The sun dips low behind Mount Vesuvius, casting long shadows over Pompeii's streets. Golden light reflects on columns, mosaics, and weathered stones. Visitors linger at the forum, captivated by the layering of time. Dr. Rossi watches quietly as a family points out wheel ruts worn into the stone, graffiti etched centuries ago. The city feels alive, not in its original form, but through memory and reconstruction. The contrast of light and shadow underscores both beauty and fragility, reminding all present that history is a delicate, luminous thread connecting past and present. As evening falls, the crowds thin and silence settles over the ruins. Archaeologists walk slowly, checking sensors and documenting changes before night fully descends. Emma, lingering near a mosaic courtyard, feels the weight of centuries. The empty streets are imbued with both tragedy and wonder. She imagines families hurrying to escape, children calling to parents, and merchants abandoned mid-transaction. Night deepens the sense of connection. The absence of modern noise allows the voices of the past to echo, a reminder that these lives were real, vibrant, and abruptly interrupted. Even after the tourists leave, work continues. Conservators check fragile frescoes, stabilize crumbling walls, and monitor the effects of weather and pollution. Modern equipment, 3D scanners, sensors, and imaging devices, ensures that even subtle changes are recorded. Dr. Martinez notes how technology allows patience and precision, contrasting with centuries of hurried excavations. Preservation is an ongoing act of care, balancing access, education, and protection. Pompeii is alive as an archaeological project, a city maintained not by those who built it but by those committed to remembering it responsibly. In a quiet corner of the forum, Emma studies graffiti, personal notes, political slogans, jokes scratched into plaster. She smiles at the universality of expression, human nature unchanged over millennia. Dr. Russo explains that these inscriptions reveal political rivalries, humor, and daily frustrations, connecting modern visitors to ordinary Pompeians. Life in Pompeii was messy, playful, and human. Every scribble carries meaning, showing that history is not only monumental structures but the small, intimate traces of human thought and emotion resonating across centuries. Dr. Rossi gathers students in the house of the tragic poet. Through augmented reality, walls are restored digitally, furniture placed, daily activities animated. Students witness Romans performing ordinary routines, preparing food, greeting neighbors, studying scrolls. Technology bridges centuries, providing insight into habits, customs, and social hierarchy. Emma realizes that understanding the past is not just academic, it is experiential. Observing and interacting with these reconstructions reveals the universality of daily life, showing how much humans, despite historical and technological differences, share in experience and emotion. Mount Vesuvius looms over the city, a constant reminder of nature's power. Scientists discuss the volcano's eruptions, soil fertility, and ongoing risk. The fertile lands, a product of volcanic ash, allowed Pompeii to flourish agriculturally. Emma reflects on the duality, destruction and creation intertwined. The same force that ended lives also preserved them, creating a historical time capsule. Visitors are reminded of humanity's fragile place in the natural world, and the enduring impact of geological forces, prompting reflection on how we live with risk and shape our environments. Emma wanders past thermopolia, fountains, and villas, reflecting on the resilience of memory. The plaster casts, frescoes, mosaics, and scrolls form a bridge to the past. Each layer of ash and stone is a testament to human life, ambition, and artistry. Preservation ensures these voices endure, allowing future generations to encounter, study, and empathize with Pompeians. The city's story is not just historical, it is a continuous dialogue across time, emphasizing that even ordinary lives can resonate through millennia, leaving traces that inspire reflection, understanding, and reverence. In the Garden of the Fugitives, Emma lingers. She studies gestures frozen in ash, hands raised, heads bowed, children clinging to parents. Silence amplifies the human drama. Tears well up, but alongside sorrow is awe. Emma feels intimately connected to strangers who lived, loved, and feared like she does. The experience crystallizes a profound truth. History is deeply personal. The people of Pompeii are no longer abstract. They are reminders of the universality of human experience, mortality, and resilience. Stars emerge above Vesuvius, illuminating the city in soft moonlight. Emma and the last visitors depart, leaving the ruins quiet once more. Archaeologists review data from the day, ensuring fragile artifacts are safe. The city rests under the watchful eye of the volcano. Layers of history, tragedy, and discovery coexist in silence. The ruins themselves are storytellers, conveying both the fragility and endurance of human life. Tomorrow, scholars, tourists, and dreamers will return, continuing the dialogue between past and present. Night settles fully over Pompeii. The ruins rest in silence beneath a canopy of stars, their stones cool in the evening air. Shadows stretch across the forum where once merchants bartered and citizens gathered. The outlines of villas and baths glow faintly in moonlight, soft and steady. Beyond the city, Vesuvius looms in quiet silhouette, its presence both ominous and eternal. Within these streets lie echoes of lives once lived, footsteps worn into stone, frescoes brightened by lamplight, meals abandoned mid-preparation, gestures of love and fear frozen in ash. Time has passed, empires have risen and fallen, yet here the moment endures, preserved in unexpected detail. Pompeii remains not as it was, but as it became through disaster and discovery. A city transformed by fire and ash into a silent chronicle of human life. The stones hold their memories, the earth its secrets, and the night sky its witness. Beneath the stars, Pompeii rests, unchanged and unchanging, carrying within it the stillness of centuries.